Hey kids, do you like wrestling? Well, we like wrestling too. We are Shake Them Ropes here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Myself and Chris Novembrino kind of doing a lazy river of wrestling criticism, going through the news and whatever happened in stateside television wrestling. And also, you know what? Sometimes we just like to watch old stuff and talk about that too. Love for you to give us a listen. If you haven't already, we are Shake Them Ropes here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Thank you so much for supporting WWE and NXT and me. You're so sweet.
You are listening to the Flagship Podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
Let's pull over and have a wank, and then they pull over and have a wank, and then they do what they do, I don't know, that's sex positive.
Rich Cringe.
No offense to anybody that's listening that's a pilot or a boat captain, but you know what I mean?
Who do you think's listening to this show?
I don't know, And we are live on the Flagship Podcast. I am Rich. He is Joe. Joe, what's happening? How are you?
Listen, they're going to do it. We were talking about it.
Blue Demon Nation. Hold on. It's 62:59 here. Let's wait.
Yeah. I'm watching the game cast, so I'm not as locked in as you. Who's got the ball here?
Creighton just scored. We cannot start off our show listened to by thousands of people all across the world with play-by-play from Creighton DePaul.
DePaul basketball. What do you mean?
Second round of the Big East tournament.
Yeah. Quarterfinal.
That'll be completely irrelevant to 90% of the people that listen to this, but yeah, that's we were talking hoops. That's why we're late here on the show here tonight. We're talking hoops. I've begun watching a lot of these sicko college basketball tournaments each night because I go to bed and the nurse will fall asleep and I'm like, all right, great. Let me see what's on. So it's like 10 p.m. So I'm watching the Big Sky tournament. I'm watching. You're a big SWAC tournament guy, right? You always like the SWAC.
I'll watch any tournament.
Yeah. So I think that's it. I think that's what I've gotten to your. I don't know how this started. But it was like a week or so ago. I'm like, I'm just gonna watch everything I could possibly watch. Any tournament, if it's a tournament, college basketball tournament game, I'm in. I'm watching. So I've been watching a lot of sick basketball lately, like weird stuff with weird camera angles and weird announcers and stuff. But I like it. You can take your flashy Big East tournament, and I'm good. I'll take Montana versus whoever the fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ. Creighton's going to win this game. They just hit a tie ball game, Joe.
Ashworth hit a 3 to tie the game.
You had to come out here and say, they're going to do it. They're going to do it.
Hold on a second. I told you not to put the game on.
You did.
I said, if you put the game on, you're going to mush them. Because that's what you do.
I do. I am DePaul. If you want to, if any Big East team would like to employ me, they can, if you're down at the half to DePaul, get me as quickly as possible to watch the game, go to the game, do whatever you got to do. Find me a
down
TV.
The wind trust, preferably. Get right down the wind trust. Right. All right, now look, let's reset this. 62-62.
We can't do live play. We can't be doing this.
Yes, we can.
No, we cannot.
It's tie game, 16 seconds. Holtman called timeout. So what's he going to draw up here? Okay, they can hold for the last shot.
I don't think we have express written consent from the FS1 or the Big East
get around
conference.
That. You just got to look. Mike and the Mad Dog did it for decades. We can get away with it too. Now you've got the live feed, so you got to do this here. So
yeah, I got you.
I'd go to CJ Gunn here. That's who I'd run something for.
Get the big gun out there.
I get it to see it. Bring it up with Rivera. And run something off a ball screen and let Gunn take the last shot here.
Shiny Wizard asking if Chris Hero's going to call in. We probably have a better chance of getting Chris Hero on to talk hoops than we do wrestling for sure.
I don't want. He's a Duke fan.
He's a Duke guy. Yeah, we don't want to talk to a Dookie. That's true. But today would be a good day to talk to a Dookie.
That's true.
Little humbled today.
Little bit. We'll see with that twisted ankle.
You know what's worse is DePaul. I didn't really realize they're wearing shirts. They're like rally shirts. You know how every team has like their rally shirts right now, and it's always like win or whatever. Like there says nothing easy.
Nothing. Well, yeah, it's true.
Like, damn it, that's not good. Like, I don't know if that's always good. I know they're trying to say like nothing comes easy or whatever. You got to try hard, but like it also has the other connotation that's like, yeah, we can't even. Oh God, we're trying to win and we can't. Oh Jesus.
Oh, here we go. NJ Benson, I think, is coming at it. You got to see. You're watching live.
I got it live. Yeah, I got it live.
So they got the shooters on the floor. They took Benson out of there, which is interesting. He's the big man. So you got to give us the live play-by-play.
They're not going for no offensive rebounds here. They're gonna just gonna put it out. If they go to OT, we cannot talk about this game anymore. For the record, right?
Bonus basketball. Bonus
Not
basketball.
talking about. All right, let's see. I don't know who this guy is. I don't watch as much DePaul basketball as you do. Some guy with dreads. He's out there dribbling. It's not CJ Gunn, but I think this play is going to CJ Gunn. He's in the corner here. Little ball screen. Oh, wide open. Oh, he got blocked. Oh, geez. Wait, this. Oh, heave. Random heave. All right, no. Okay. Some random dude put up a shot. He got blocked. Random dude had a heave.
It was Rivera. Isaiah Rivera.
OT. We're going to OT. Bonus basketball.
That's the end of DePaul's run then.
God damn it. Yeah, Creighton's going to just,
You totally mushed them. You knew it was going to happen.
I told you, don't let me put them on, and you didn't stop me.
I told you not to put it on.
You didn't stop me enough. You did not stop me enough.
I literally said, don't put it on. You know what's going to happen here. When they were up 5 when you put it on, then they were up 8 at one point with a minute 55 left. And here we are, 62-62 going to overtime. It really is. It is uncanny how much of a mush you are when it comes to the DePaul Blue Demons. But yeah, there's no shot they're winning this game.
Right. You know what? I'm going to turn it off.
Yeah, turn it off.
I'm just going to turn it off. I'm just going to not. What do we got? St. Joe's and LaSalle. There we go. Perfect. St. Joe's and LaSalle. Games.
That's a good one, too. You have Fran Dunphy coaching LaSalle. Could be his last career game. He's retiring when their season ends.
Jameer Nelson out there for St. Joe's, I'm assuming, right? Isn't his child? He's got a child that I believe is either in college basketball or right on the doorstep of college basketball.
I'm sure 48-year-old Jameer Nelson is still running the point for the St. Joe's Hawks.
Yeah. Jameer Nelson Jr., actually, he's already graduated high school. He is in the G League. He is on the Austin Spurs. So I'm so old that my joke about how old I am, that a guy that I remembered's kid would be playing in college, is now so out of date that the kid has graduated from college.
Yeah.
Full 4-year run, it appears, and now he's in the G League.
Yeah.
So that's
well, I mean, look, this is a good prelude. I won't be here next week, so it'll be a full-on production.
Now I know. All right, great. Didn't know that. I guess I should have understood that. Yeah, I should.
Hold on a second. How do you not know that? We've been doing this 13 years.
Yeah.
And what week do I always take off from the show?
It's true. It's true.
I'm
now remembering the various March guests that I've had, and now it's all making sense.
So I feel like that didn't need to be communicated.
Yeah,
it's understood.
I mean, it should have been understood. Yeah, it should have been understood. Yeah, but yes, that I forget that is next week. So all right, fair enough. Well, pending, we'll find out who can make their way.
My obnoxious 4 television room. Basically from March Madness, and you got to understand I'm not going to be there.
No,
but will DePaul be there is the big question.
No,
are they going to
absolutely not
come back against Creighton here?
Absolutely zero chance. Absolutely zero chance.
Move on to the Big East semifinals.
I think the only Illinois representation will be the Illini, Flying Illini.
Well, yeah. They won today. They beat Iowa. They're probably in. We'll see.
Oh, I guess they weren't as good this year as they were last year. So
well, they're like 21-10, but the Big Ten isn't that. There's going to be 47 SEC teams in the tournament taking up all the spots. So we'll see about Illinois. I think ultimately they'll be in the field. But
Sean Cedar brings up a great point, because I'm an opposite mush for the White Sox. He says DePaul blows the lead when he tunes in, and the White Sox win when he goes to a game and wants them to lose. They won 2 out of their last 3 games that I went. They had a whole homestand to lose 1 game, and I went to 2 out of the 3 games, and they won all 3.
Yeah. I mean,
I was 4-5 this year for the White Sox, which I think you statistically figured out that's like basically being struck by lightning.
It's almost as impossible as a lightning strike. It's they won 44 games. You saw 4 of the wins.
I saw 4 wins. And they won 44 games total, not just at home.
Right.
I watched.
Not at home.
Yeah, how many home wins did they have? And I saw. Yeah, let's see. Home. They were 23-58 at home.
Yeah.
And I saw 4 of those 23.
Yeah. They only won 19 other games at home that you did not attend. And you wanted them to lose these games.
I wanted them to lose almost every single one of them. The first 2, not necessarily, but the last.
Right. You wanted the history game.
Yes, I wanted the history game. Yeah, me and everybody else. Everybody booed them when they won. That was funny.
You really are.
I'm like keeping score. I kept my ticket. I went and got a scorebook.
Yeah, you want to frame it.
I wanted to frame it. Chris Sampson's in the chat room. He brought his newborn daughter there, and got like a My First White Sox game. You get this little plaque that says My First White Sox game or whatever.
He recalled the entire story on that Flagship Plus last week.
Oh, did he? Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, okay, I didn't listen to that one yet. I'm sorry.
And how you guys ran into each other in the concourse. And
I took off of work because the one game I went to, we were going for like a work thing, and I was like, "That's all." We were going after work with all my guys from work. I was like, "Great, I'm gonna go see. It's perfect. We had the free tickets anyway. Whatever. We're gonna see them lose. It's great." So I got there early. I got my scorebook. I did all this stuff. They win. I'm like, all right, whatever. Who cares? So then they win the next day, and I'm like, they're not gonna win the next day. I'll be fine. They win the next day, and I'm like, all right, well. They're not winning 3 in a row. They haven't won 3 in a row like almost all year. I think I have a good chance. So I mentioned to my boss, I got this without PTO either. I just went up to my boss and I was like, I want to go see the White Sox set the record. He was like, yeah, go, get out of here. What are you doing? Go. And I'm like, yeah, great. So I go all the way there. I take off work. I do the same scorecard thing. I meet Chris Samsa. We talk about it. We're here, and they rally, like a rally win. And everyone's just like, you just laugh. You just have to laugh at it.
You just have to laugh.
And then they lose immediately. They go down the road and lose the first game to the Angels or whatever the fuck. It's like, God damn. They beat the Angels. Who'd they lose to? I forget who they lost to, but it didn't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, well.
They set the record no matter what. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot St. Joe's has that annoying bird. I don't want to watch this.
Had a Hawks.
Yeah, he's always flapping his wings. That's annoying. But anyway.
What are you, Taz? What are you?
I don't like the wings.
He likes exotic birds, though. It's common birds.
He's more of a condor guy and stuff. Yeah, he likes crap.
He likes the exotic birds.
Yeah.
He says he's got no heat with exotic birds. It's the common birds he's not a fan. You know, the dirty little gray birds in
pigeons. You're thinking
grocery store parking lots, like those kind of birds. Like he doesn't like
seagulls, pigeons. Sparrows,
I think even less than that, like that kind of undefinable bird that's in every neighborhood that you don't even know what the fuck it is. It's just a dirty bird that hangs out in puddles and eats cigarette butts. Like that kind of
probably
bird.
A pigeon. Yeah, probably a pigeon.
Yeah. Maybe sparrow. Is it a sparrow? Maybe
sparrows are a little more. They do take over. Sparrows do take over, but they're a little bit more classy. They're not really going to eat cigarette butts and stuff.
Yeah,
they're a little bit more. But they do take over. They're every neighborhood in America has them. Because they're just
taken over by
they run over.
Because they just breed like crazy.
Yeah,
I think those are the ones that
here. Bird talk here on the Flagship. They now you're talking my speed. I'll talk birds all day if you want. They the thing with them, they're invasive species. By the way, they're not supposed to be here at all. They came from England, and some guy. They literally started as one guy brought a sparrow over, or brought 2 sparrows over, and now everybody has thousands of sparrows because of that. And it wasn't that long ago either. It was like 100 years ago. This one guy brought 2 sparrows or whatever. But they breed like crazy, like you said. But they also they get the nests before everybody else too. They like come to an area quicker than every other bird. So they just and then now they just don't leave. Now they've just decided we can live through the winter. We're good. We don't have to leave. So these birds that migrate come back, and the fucking sparrows have already taken over by the time they come home. You know, they're like, all right, let's see what's going on in this tree here. Like I have a bird feeder, and they destroy it, these sparrows every day. Just.
I think those are the ones that breed on my front porch every year.
Yes,
I got the nest there that I will knock down. Yeah.
Well, actually, I think sometimes you have robins. I've seen both. You have both robins and sparrows in the pictures I've seen in the past, but mostly
botanist?
sparrows.
What is this shit?
I believe it's I don't know if it's botany. I think it's it's aviary, but I don't think aviary is what you call them, but I don't know what you call
it's kind of bird watcher.
Guy.
You got the little spectacles. You got like the binoculars.
I do like watching birds. That's how I know I've gotten old. Is this year for Christmas, the nurse was like, I don't know what to get you, so I got you binoculars when you go watch birds. And I was like, oh my
bird watching
God.
binoculars. You are the oldest 38-year-old.
I was like, oh my God. Cause she's like, you're hard to buy for. So I got you binoculars and like a bunch of bird related things. Then I got a new birdhouse, and I was like, you got me just all bird stuff for Christmas. Unbelievable. This is where I've gotten to in my life. But
what's next? Some orthopedic shoes. I know you got problems with those shins. So maybe
that's not bad. That's not a bad idea.
Maybe you should go for that. Maybe you get some copper fit socks.
I don't know about you. I watch those copper fit commercials, and I'm thinking, what's that?
And you're rubbing your chin. You're like,
it looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm like, that's compression where I need it for sure. Yeah, I watch. It used to be the Brett Favre suiting up, and now it's like Jerry Rice and some of these other guys, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I look at it and then they show like the little gold and I'm like, it seems like a
copper fit sock.
Like that might
pulled
work.
Pulled all the way up to the knees. The copper fit sock. The one guy you're intrigued by, like the fat bus driver who says he goes dancing now. Right?
Yeah,
That's
right. I'm like, all right.
And he does that little dance. He's like that fat bus driver, and you're like, wow, look, this guy's out there dancing. I should get some copper fit socks. They got the copper fit back brace now. Have you seen?
I've
these
seen that
commercials?
one. That's a little too much for me. Yeah, I look like the knee brace. I look at and I'm like, that looks a little good. The elbow brace, like I don't need it, but I look at Jerry Rice and he seems to be catching a lot of touchdowns with it. So,
what's wrong with you? Why? Like, why do you age yourself like this?
Because I'm still out here hooping, man. It's what's actually good though is you go out. These kids, because they see me and I'm kind of limpy and I can't, but then I dice them up on the court, though. It's good because they don't guard you for a little while. So they think you're old.
Right, because they're like, oh, I don't have to guard this guy.
Yeah, it's great. It's perfect.
Yeah, this guy,
I get at least four. I can get at least 4 buckets before they're like, all right, maybe guard that guy.
And then you get the opposite. Like when you hit a couple shots, then they're in your fucking shirt.
Yeah,
for
that's
the next
fine. That's fine.
Yeah, because that's how it always goes. Like they're like, I don't have to respect him. And then you make a couple shots. And then they're in your fucking jersey for like the next 5 possessions. That's always the pattern. And it's like, and then they settle into just normal pickup defense.
Yeah, right.
Which is like 70% effort defense until it's game point. Then, everybody, it's like the old NBA All-Star game, right? It's like,
every pickup game is the NBA All-Star game where it's
pretty much, yeah. That's how it goes with the defensive effort. Yeah.
Although I'll say here in the Chicagoland area, we do a little heavier defense.
Oh, a little more than the 70%.
A little more. Because every time I've played anywhere else, I notice that I'm trying on defense a lot harder. Like I played in Florida one time, and I played in California a couple times, and I noticed that I'm working a little harder than the other people at defense. Like they're working harder, absolutely on offense, but when the defense comes, they're kind of like you said. They're kind of like, whatever.
70%.
Right. I'm like, screen right. Switch.
Yeah.
Like, calm down, buddy. It's
it's
8-3. Calm down. We're good.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Because pickup basketball, behavior, it's like you don't. It's a weird thing. You don't want to be the guy trying the hardest on defense because you come off like a nerd.
Yeah. Well, no, now I don't care because I always do that. It's fine. Who cares? I have nobody to impress. I'm that.
You're out there with your copper fit socks. You're playing the hardest defense.
Yeah, you gotta live up to the rep. You gotta live up to the rep.
You're
sure.
sticking the elbow out on picks.
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
I totally
grabbing a jersey as they go by. I've now gotten really good at the because I can't keep up with kids as much on the perimeter. Like these kids are great too. They're great at dribbling. They're great at getting past you. But I've gotten real good at the stab, where they get past you and then you wrap your arm around and you stab the ball out of their hands.
Yeah.
I'm great at it now. What a beautiful tool that is.
Well, they're all good at the Steph Curry shit.
Yeah.
Dribbling around, fucking all this Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving shit where they're just, dribbling around. That's because that's who they see. You're out there running the baseline like Reggie Miller in 1996.
Right, exactly.
High motor, you're out.
Vinny Johnson. I'm the microwave Vinny Johnson out there. Just,
You're playing dirty defense like Raja Bell. That's what you're doing out there.
For sure.
Tripping guys.
Yeah, very Bruce Bowen. Very Bruce Bowen, Raja Bell out there.
Yeah, a lot of hip checks.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know.
These kids are weak as fuck too, man. That's the other thing too. These kids that come up, because I'll play with like 18-year-olds and 20-year-olds, and they're weak, man. They're really, I don't know if I was always weak then or kids are just weaker now, but I'm like, man, I'm knocking these kids.
Tell you, well, I know what's happening. You've got the old man strength.
Hell yeah, there it is.
You remember when you play with the old guys?
Yeah.
Like, why is this guy so strong?
Right, this guy's 55 years old.
How is he so strong?
Yeah,
because they had the old man strength.
See, I used to play with old Lithuanian dudes, so I just thought it was a Lithuanian thing, but I guess it's just an old guy thing.
The old shit. Look, we have the old man strength now. You need to get down on the post.
I do.
I don't care that you're 6 foot. Get down on the post.
Oh, I do, of course, yeah. Because I got that R.I.P. Oliver Miller. I got a little bit of Oliver Miller butt to get those kids out of there. So.
You got that big butt, and listen. You got the big butt, you got the old man strength, and you have that other edge. You're extremely sweaty. You're an extremely sweaty man.
Oh, yeah.
And there is nothing worse in a pickup game than having to guard the
sweaty cotton shirt guy. Sweaty cotton shirt guy, yeah.
38-year-old sweaty guy who wants to post you up all game. It's like that scene in the Ben Stiller movie where he's, it's just disgusting.
Yeah, they don't want that smoke. They don't want that.
They don't want that. These kids don't want that. They're wearing their $170 Steph Curry jersey, and they don't want your sweat all over it. And honestly, you know, they're not going to guard you as hard down there in the post because they don't want any part of it. Just throw that fucking big ass into them and that sweaty back. Get those arms up and call for the ball. So it's like you see the sweat droplets coming off your hairy armpit. They don't want no part of that, Rich. You're a hairy, sweaty mess, and it's going to work to your advantage. Got to get down and dirty in the post.
Thank you for the inspiration. I will.
The Paul down 3 with 48 seconds left.
Thank you for the update. I'm not turning it on. I don't even want to know. Don't even want to know.
I don't know who has the ball here. Again, I'm behind because I don't have I got the game cast, which is always a couple possessions behind.
Yeah, I won't even know. I've turned on Illinois high school basketball.
It's too late. You already mushed them.
It's fine. They didn't deserve it anyway.
The miracle run has ended, and it's your fault. It's absolutely all your fault. But speaking of Chris Samsa and brackets and tournaments, maybe we should open up with the New Japan Cup.
Let's
do
transition. Yeah, it's very great transition. Yeah, New Japan Cup. Let's talk it.
You want to do your deal where you run down what's going to be on the show?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we're going to start with the New Japan Cup no matter what, but we are going to also talk about the fallout from AEW Revolution 2025. We're not going to do a full recap and review of that show because we've already done so on Instant Reaction Live last Sunday. Instant Reaction Live immediately following the show. Nearly 2 hours. I can't believe we didn't get right. We're at like 1:59:15 or something like that. I checked earlier today and I was like, oh my God. Because I was going to say 2+ hours. I usually go 2+ hours of recap. Somehow we went 1:59:60. It's like as close as you could possibly be. And I'm like, why did we not just go 2 hours? But anyway, nearly 2 hours of results and reviews, all breaking it down on Sunday. We're also going to talk about the fallout from Raw. You had the cage match with Seth not freaking anymore, maybe, versus CM Punk, and Roman Reigns came in, and we'll look at the updated WrestleMania lineups and kind of the fallout of that, plus some recent ratings news out of WWE as well. MLW, I think are we back? Are we back? Because something happened on this MLW show where I think we might be back. We'll talk about it. MLW Intimidation Games 2025. We'll review that later. Maple Leaf Pro, Scott D'Amore's little thing in Canada's back again. We'll maybe get to that. We don't necessarily have to, but I kind of want to point and laugh at these shows and Scott D'Amore and whatever the hell he's trying to do there with Maple Leaf Pro. And I got a Joshi match, though, that I want to put over and talk about. Maybe I can convince you to watch this Joshi match. So we'll get to that a little bit later on the show. But yeah, let's start out with the New Japan Cup. I've watched all the New Japan Cup match. I've skipped all the tags. I don't know about you. I don't know what you've seen from the New Japan Cup, but I have. I
watched every New Japan Cup match today.
That's
before. Yeah.
That was not a good idea.
I have a confession to make. Okay. Rich, I don't like the New Japan Cup. I feel like every year I like the New Japan Cup in theory.
The concept of the New Japan Cup is often better than.
Right. More than in practice, because I am never enthused to watch the New Japan Cup. And as you can see, I put it off all week. There's a pattern. I'm going to pull the curtain back a little on this flagship show that we do. Okay. And I know that Rich Craich can relate to this. If I watch something on Thursday, 10 minutes before the show, that means I didn't want to watch it. That's like the thing I put off all week. And I'm like, I got to watch this before the show. And this week, that was the New Japan Cup. All week long, I'm hemming and hawing. Like, I got to watch the New Japan Cup. But I found literally any reason to do anything else other than putting on this New Japan Cup, because what I've discovered about myself is I don't really like the New Japan Cup. I check out every year mentally from new. Some people check out for the world. Well, not some people.
Everyone.
Most people check out for the World Tag League, and that's understandable and justifiable. I'm a New Japan Cup mentally check out guy. I mean, I end up watching it because we have to do this show and I got to be on top of things, but I'm just not, I'm into it like on paper. Like I previewed it with Chris Samsa and I'm all fired up. I thought it was a great segment. We were breaking down every matchup and talking ball, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm into this. But then when it comes time to fire,
you printed out. You got a printer to print one out, and so you could write down who you think's going to win, or you put it on your little notebook.
Let's pump the brakes. Okay, we'll pump the brakes a little. But But then when it comes time to actually watching the New Japan Cup, I have a hard time. So I didn't watch any of the tags, but I watched every New Japan Cup match today, and not great. Not great. Double overtime to Paul Creighton, by the way.
Look at that.
Double overtime.
Look at that. Yeah.
Double overtime.
Should I turn it back on or what?
No! What's wrong with you?
I'll turn it off. I will turn it on. Yeah, I won't turn it on.
Are you insane? I wouldn't. What number on your dial is FS1?
237.
Don't even be within 50 fucking channels of 237.
I'll go back and watch Illinois high school basketball. That was.
Oh my God! How dare you?
I'm sorry to ball, Blue Demons. So here's where I tell you that I was very well prepared to watch the New Japan Cup. I watched 2 matches yesterday and then the rest of them today as well. So exactly like you said, to the point where I was literally asking people for recommendations, and that's why I ended up watching the Sareee match that I'm going to talk about a little bit later, because I was like, I don't want to watch the New Japan Cup. So what can I watch other than that? So I was asking, there's that death match that everybody's talking about, the Despy and Jun Kasai thing. So I was like, maybe I'll watch that, or hey, this Sareee thing, I'll watch that. So I ended up anything. And then finally yesterday, I was like, I have to start watching this New Japan Cup. So I watched 2 matches yesterday and then the rest of them today as well. Like minutes before we got on the air here, I was grinding through Shota Umino and Great Okan, being like, please end. I have to start the show.
So did you watch today's show?
Yes.
Man, did I think it stunk. It stunk.
Not good.
There were only 2 matches. I didn't like either one of them. I'm just totally over this House of Torture War Dog stuff.
Yeah.
And that's going to be kind of the theme of what I talk about, at least when we talk about this. I guess we'll start with Umino, though. So this was his first appearance, I believe, since he lost to Okan and shaved his own head. So we're just all curious, like, what are we going to get? Is he going back to being a young lion? Is he going to come out with a new gimmick? And he's kind of just the same old Shota, except he has a shaved head and like completely bald, down to the skin, and the same gear but with no color, just white.
Yeah, he's just wearing white. Yeah,
and he has a shaved head, and he kind of he's not doing the thing where he comes through the crowd and shakes all the kids' hands and hands out his little gimmicks to the kids. He's like all business now, and he's got like this stern face and everything, but I was not encouraged by this repackaging of Shota Umino. It was the same old boring guy, and he really didn't get any kind of special reaction or anything in the building they were in. It was a real sleepy building to begin with, but it didn't seem like they were super into this soft repackage, and the match fucking stunk.
Yeah, it was very bad. Who was doing the guest commentary? Was this Maloney? I think it was Maloney. I think it was Joe Maloney. I don't know for sure, but
I had commentary off. I was watching the basketball.
Oh, so okay. Because Umino was going so slow that I believe it was Maloney was like, yeah, I think this is part of Shota Umino's new thing, is that he's working slower. And Walker Stewart, he's like, I don't know about that. I think he's just big. And Maloney kept saying like, yeah. That's why he's going so slow. I think is because he's trying to like, he's working slow and he's trying to, take things one thing at a time. And Walker's like, well, I don't know if that's exactly the strategy that's going to work the best because I think they were trying to like sort of explain why this guy is just still wrestling like he's in quicksand. Because he's just not doing anything. He's just slow.
He has slowed it down. That. I think that's part of the deal. He's working very deliberately as part of this new thing. Now, he was in tremendous shape. I'll give him that. I mean, he was like a brick shit. Did you see the physique on this guy?
Oh, yeah. He's got that. I think it was Callum Newman, actually. I think it was Callum Newman that was doing commentary, now that I think about it.
He was, he's been hitting the gym since we last saw him. That's for sure. So from that standpoint, I think maybe he's starting to think, okay, I mean, it's, I'm going to throw away an enormous opportunity here because this company wants to push me to the moon. I haven't been able to get over. The crowd has actively turned against me. I'm getting repackaged. They're not going to repackage me twice. So, I mean, he's in the best shape of his life. It's spring training baseball, so I feel comfortable using that he's in the best shape of his life.
Oh, yeah.
But he really is, it's a meme in baseball because everyone who comes to camp is in the best shape of their life, but he really is.
Oh, 10 to 15 pounds. He's added 10 to 15 pounds or he's lost 10 to 15 pounds. Always. Every player. Yeah. Yeah.
best shape of his life. But he really is. But he's working more deliberately, and I guess the idea was intentionally to kind of strip everything away as we presumed it would be. But this,
I would have gone the whole way. I would have gone whole young lion, black tights, do basic moves, start at the beginning. I wouldn't even go in the New Japan Cup. I would even what I think you should have done is, and I think we talked about it on when he shaved his head, was don't even be in the New Japan Cup. Say I don't belong, I don't deserve it or whatever. I'm going to start in the undercard, and then he's doing the pre-show stuff. He's doing the opening stuff with the Young Lions or whatever. That's what I think they went kind of half measure with it, and instead now you have this bald guy with white pants that's not very good, and it's like, okay, what am I supposed to? And he's like winning though. He's like still winning and progressing through this tournament. So it's kind of, I don't know. They had a chance to kind of do something very interesting with him, and they kind of just opted for, we'll sort of strip him of some of his things, but not all of his things. And like you said, it's not like it's getting any heat. The crowds don't care. They're not invested.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe he just ain't it.
No, he's not. Maybe, he absolutely is not. I think we definitively know that.
Maybe you were right all along, and this guy just isn't it. And I hate to just write him off one match into it, but this was not encouraging at all. There was nothing encouraging about this presentation or performance from this guy. And the problem is, once you get these reputations, they're very hard to shake because he's now kind of a meme to the fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like now you have all of that to overcome. It's even like once you start turning the corner, all it takes is one bad match or one lousy performance or something, and then it all starts to snowball again. And this is not one of those things that's one of these things that is specific to the Western fan base. I mean, this repackage is because the native fan base turned on him. So you can't even make that argument. Because sometimes there is a divide in how the Western New Japan fans, or not just New Japan, how Western, Japanese wrestling fans view things versus how the native fan. But this is not a case. This is a universal thing where everyone's like, this guy fucking sucks.
Right. At the Tokyo Dome, they actively said, fuck this. We're done with this guy. And in the build up to the Tokyo Dome, too. In the build up, too. That should be addressed, too. It wasn't just he showed up to the Tokyo Dome and already decided. Like when he made the announcement and they made the announcement that he was going to be the main eventer, the fans were just like, ooh, he ain't, I don't know about that. And didn't quite get with him in the entire build. And then, like you said, on Wrestle Kingdom, the actual show, January 4th, actively rejected him. Like loudly and actively rejected him. And that was that was it. That was it. That had to be it.
Numerous examples of wrestlers who are more over to the Western fans, and there's numerous examples of wrestlers who are more over to the native Japanese fans. And I'm sure if we were plugged into the Japanese culture, that's like the reverse weeaboos, the Japanese people who love American culture and follow like WWE and shit, you'll probably find that too, where there's just weird wrestlers that are super over to the Japanese fan base that aren't necessarily that over in America, again, this is not that at all. And I don't know how you could have been encouraged, like I said, by his performance or his presentation. No. And let me say this, the Okan Umino match at the last, was a New Beginning, whatever show that was.
Yeah. New Beginning.
I love that match. And I think that match was pretty well received. Okan, he didn't exactly tear the house down with Phantasmo in this tournament either.
No, I don't know. I just don't ever know with that guy. Like every time that I think, we're turning a corner with that guy, he disappoints me. I'm not out on him. Obviously, that'd be silly to be out on him, but I just don't get him. I just don't understand. He runs so hot and cold, and it's just every time that I'm finally like, okay, yeah, he's turning this corner, and now I can invest in him. He goes and he lays a bunch of stinkers. He's just maybe he's just that kind of guy. He's going to be one of those 50-50 guys. That's going to be when he's great, he's really great, and when he's bad, he's really fucking bad, and that's just kind of what it is.
I think because he's so unique, it's like when he hits, he really hits because you're not getting what you get from a lot of other guys in pro wrestling today.
Yeah.
When he hits. When he doesn't hit, I mean, these are two of the most boring matches in the tournament so far that he's had. The Phantasmo match.
Oh, yeah.
And then whatever this thing was. And this one was even worse because it was the main event and they got a lot of time. So,
they got 23 minutes, which is.
Yeah. And I guess I'll do my House of Torture thing now. I mean, I'm so sick of it. Here's the thing. I'm so tired of Sho with his stupid wrench and Narita with his nail board and the constant run-ins and interference and all of this. And it totally ruins any match now because I'm so sick of it and I'm so like tired of it. after 13 fucking years of Bullet Club in this company. I've hit my limit. I can't take it anymore. And it's actively ruining New Japan for me. I hated the anniversary show, despite the fact that it had 2 pretty good matches on top, because of all the slop I had to deal with underneath. And it's making me not want to watch these New Japan Cup shows because I'm scanning to see if there's like this House of Torture War Dogs feud is my least favorite thing in wrestling right now.
You can't find something I hate more than this.
I'll give you an extreme example. I would sign up for another year of the Death Riders if you promised me that this feud would stop dead in its tracks and never happen again.
Okay.
I find the Death Riders far less offensive than this because to me, the Death Riders is just mediocre heel bullshit. I don't like that either. And the problem in wrestling right now is between the House of Torture / Bullet Club nonsense, Team 2000X and Noah, the Death Riders in AEW. I'm tired of this.
You should watch You should start watching Stardom. The main Stardom group is kind of that.
That's the same thing too with the constant run-ins, and you're just waiting. You're looking at your watch, waiting for the run-in, like with these other 3 promotions on the top of the card.
Yep.
I mean, it's I'm tired. I'm so tired of it. And New Japan, it's been almost 15 years of this.
Yeah, and this stuff's particularly bad too. The House of Torture stuff is bad because everyone acts the same too. The announcers do the same thing every single time. It's not necessarily Walker Stewart's fault. He has to commentate these things, but every time show runs in and he's like, "God damn it! Oh, come on! I can't believe! Oh, what are we doing? How are they even allowed at ringside?" I'm like, I don't know how are they allowed. Position. You're right. You're right. How are they allowed? But him and Chris Charlton have to every single time go, "Oh, come on! Oh, these guys are ruining this match. Oh, it's a great match. They have no honor. What about the honor of New Japan?" And it's like, how many times are we going to do what about the honor of New Japan? God damn it! Oh, these guys! I can't believe it. They're ruining this match. Like, it's very tiresome.
And these War Dog matches now, it's always the same pattern. We're gonna crowd brawl. We're gonna fight with chairs on the outside. We're gonna do some chair spots. Gabe Kidd loves to fucking take bumps on chairs. Then we're gonna get in there and wrestle a little bit, and then you were just waiting around for House of Torture to run in. Even when he's in a match with Taichi, you get the House of Torture, and then they cause the count out, and it's like, I'm just so fucking over it. I have no patience for it. I have no interest in it. We talked about it with Noah last week. We've talked about it endlessly with the Death Riders, as has everybody else. And I guess you're telling me it's happening in Stardom as well.
Yeah.
I mean, can we just have a promotion somewhere where the heels are just unlikable assholes? And yeah, they cheat a little bit. I don't have problems with heels cheating. That's the essence of pro wrestling. But, can we just go back to some detestable shitheads that are unlikable, that you want to see the baby faces overcome because they're shitheads and they're assholes, and every now and then they'll hold the fucking tights to get a win? Can we just go back to that? Can someone go back to that? I mean, this is just so overdone, and it's everywhere, and it's such a turnoff to me. I have no interest in it anymore. And it's been 13 straight years of this, specifically in New Japan. At least in Noah, it's something different. It's something new for Noah.
It's shaking up Noah because it is different, and that's why they're getting attention, and why it is still feels a little fresh and a little new and all that sort of stuff. And that's a really, really cool thing for Noah. But for people like you and I who watch all this stuff and cover it on a weekly basis or whatever, it's. Yeah, I got there with Noah recently too, where I'm like, okay, I think I get.
How many weeks you watch AEW? You're waiting for Wheeler Yuta to run in. I'm just so fucking over it. And this specifically, New Japan to me is the worst though. I detest the House of Torture, and I cannot stand this House of Torture War Dogs thing. And it's Gato, so it's going to last a year and a half. I'm not exaggerating. It's gonna last. They're gonna have dome matches in fucking next January between these two groups, and it's gonna probably last beyond that. You know how this guy books at a snail's pace. They center in the company around this stuff, and there's other things happening in New Japan that I like. Who isn't into the Hiroki Goto stuff right now?
Oh, it's great. And he's getting over like crazy, man. He's drawing. Yeah. You can look at some tangible business with it as well. And when he comes out, he gets the hottest reaction from the crowds now. Like everyone is into Goto now. It's
feel good.
Yeah.
It's like, but then this shit, just because you can't avoid it, it's all over the card. It's all over the card. So, it has hurt my viewing experience for the New Japan Cup. And look, the New Japan Cup's not exactly knocking my socks off when it's not the House of Torture. So I thought today's show stunk. I didn't think night one was anything. Did you watch night one?
Yeah, I've seen all the matches, but the list of matches that I could tangibly recommend to somebody is pretty low so far for the New Japan Cup, unfortunately.
Uemura, Sonata. By modern Sonata standards, I thought it was pretty okay. I thought, because I'm expecting to really hate it because it's Sonata and all that. But that's the other thing. It's not just House of Torture. There's like heels all over New Japan and just unwatchable shit. Evil Yota Tsuji was just a pile of fucking garbage, just total unwatchable garbage. Oiwa and Chase Owens. It was a fucking Chase Owens match. It was a 2 3/4 star match. And then Gabe Kidd and Narita, which was just another pile of garbage. I cannot endorse or recommend any of this stuff.
I really wanted to like Gabe Kidd and Ren Narita. I really did, because Gabe Kidd is super over right now, and the New Japan fans, the native fans love him. They adore him. He's got that energy like we talk about. There's something there. There's absolutely something there with Gabe Kidd, and that's why I'm thinking, okay, this is a great outlet, this New Japan Cup, to really push forward whatever they're going to do with Gabe Kidd and have him stand out. And I don't know if he's going to win obviously he's not going to, but at this point I'm thinking, I don't know if he's going to win the entire thing, but I think a nice little run for him. He can kind of just go out there and maybe vanquish some of these heels. And because, yes, he's in a heel unit, but he's very clearly a babyface in that heel unit or whatever. So it's a little bit of an interesting story they have going on with him. And I wanted to like this match. Really, there was a lot of parts of this match where I'm like, all right, cool. The detestable chicken shit, boring heels, they're getting, Gabe Kidd's overcoming them. That's just pretty cool. But then it just kept going and going and going and going. And eventually he did win, but I was like, I'm good. I get it. I understand. The 15th time somebody runs in and Walker Stewart goes, God damn it. Oh, what are they? Oh, no. Come on. I can't, I'm good. So that was a match where like halfway through I was really into it, and then it just kept going and going, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm out. So I can't recommend it. Honestly, night one, my favorite match is probably Uemura and Sonata, which is not good.
So night two, there were actually two matches that I liked. One was Maloney and Ishii, which is a contender for the best match I saw today. And this is going to sound crazy. Maybe it was because it was just like a breath of fresh air. I really liked Oleg Boltin and Bad Luck Fale.
That was my take. You've taken my take.
I really liked it.
I liked it a lot. I like the idea that Bad Luck Fale comes out. He's like, I'm fat. I'm not going to move. Mm-hmm. And if you want to move me, you're going to have to move me. So if you want to move me, big boy, come and move me. And that's what the match was.
Yeah. I feel like if the whole Saguna Keita crowd bothers to watch this, they'll fucking love it. Because Fale is often very bad these days, as we all know, and I didn't think he was bad here. I thought he was perfectly fine in his role as this big, immobile monster who Oleg Boltin, who's usually the bigger guy, had to find a way to overcome. And he did give him that big finish at the end, and Fale took it. And he took it.
You know what Fale did at the beginning of the match there was a spot where they were bouncing off the ropes, and Fale was, doing his thing where I'm not going to fall. And Bolton shoulder checked him, and Fale went and took a tumble outside of the ring. Now he landed on his feet. He didn't take a back bump. Yeah, but I will say that even doing that, I was like, oh, okay, Fale's got his working boots on tonight, which seems ridiculous that take a slight tumble through the middle rope and land on your feet is a big time spot. But for Bad Luck Fale, it is. And I was like, oh, we got our working boots on here today. And yeah, it kind of worked, because the whole match is, hey, can Bolton get this guy up? Can he do the gut wrench? Can he get him up? And like you said, Fale eventually went up, but he made it a struggle. So yeah, my take was shit, I kind of like this match a lot.
I kind of like the match. At this point, it was my second favorite match of the fucking tournament.
Yeah.
It started with Bolton trying to shoulder block him. He gave him a flying shoulder block. So they established right off the bat what the match was going to be, and for what it was, I thought it was very well worked from both guys. And believe me, you're not expecting to enjoy the performance of 2025 Bad Luck Fale. But here we are with total Nia Jax hours putting over an immobile.
Listen to us. For God's sakes, listen to us. What have we become?
Yeah, but look, if he was bad, I'd say he was bad. I can't say he was bad.
No.
He was good in what they were trying to get over. And then it had the very boring Okan Phantasmo match, which is one of the worst matches of the tournament just because it was so boring. And then Naito, the Naito Callum Newman mess, which, you can't let either guy off the hook really, but you can't have a Naito match without one messy looking Destino and, TJP, to his credit, trying to cover for him. Oh, well, it's never as effective as the full Destino, like when he screwed it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that match stunk. But so, on night 2 wasn't anything great either, but at least I liked 2 of the matches. And then night 3 had 3 second-round matches. Uemura Yoshihashi was pretty good. The work was solid, and that was good enough.
Yeah, that was fine. That was perfectly fine. Acceptable pro wrestling.
Yeah, and Saber and Oiwa with with their sort of friendly grapple contest that they had, that was fine too.
I was a little underwhelmed by that match. I went in with pretty high expectations, and I was a little underwhelmed. It was good, and it was kind of there was some Ogawa tribute spots here and there, and so there were little stuff like that. But I don't know. I left thinking, I feel like there's a better match in there somewhere.
Yeah, and then Finley Evil
fuck this match. 18 minutes of my goddamn life or 17 minutes of my goddamn life, ending with a count out. Fuck you. Go away.
I have no patience or use for this shit anymore. I can't. And it's I wish I could just skip out on this stuff. I can't. I know I can't. I have to watch it, which means I have to come on here and complain about it. But it's so off-putting to me that it like ruins my day. Like I'm fucking grumpy, like, because I'm like clicking the next show, and I'm looking through my fucking fingers to see how many Bullet Club adjacent matches are on a show that I have to fucking torture myself with. I really, if people can't tell, not a fan of this
love
stuff
the cup. Didn't love the old NJ Cup this week.
It's really sullying the whole experience for me.
Yeah, the company. I mean, man, listen to what we were talking about at the end of like after the January 4th and 5th, and how excited we were about New Japan, and even New Beginning. We were like, oh man, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on here and whatnot, and how that's just been beaten out of us so quickly in such little time. But the cup does that. The cup does that a lot, unfortunately, these days. But it's like, how is this? It just bogs everything down, and I'm sorry. It really does. It ruins it for me. And I know there's people that will go out there and say, "Oh no!" But
if you like the House of Torture,
you're gonna like it. But yeah, it's too much. It's too much. It's all through the show.
It's so overbearing.
I mean, we had 2. And then on night 4, we had back-to-back nights with countouts. For God's sakes, you know what I mean? Like,
I know
with different people involved too. Different people involved. The countout was, you had a main event countout in night 3. You had David Finlay beat Evil by countout. And then on night 4, to get out of Gabe Kidd doing a fall to Taichi, he had another count out. And that's like, come on, man. Come on.
I know.
Back-to-back nights of count outs? Really?
Remember like Toshiaki Kawada and Akira Taue? They're just grumpy assholes and they're bad guys for it. Mm-hmm. Why can't someone do that?
Yeah, Kawada's an asshole because he's jealous of Kenta Kobashi, and that's what makes him a heel.
And and what makes him a heel is he'll kick you in the face when you're down on one knee and it's perceived as a cheap shot. Like, why can't we go back to that being a heel? That would feel novel now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
When you look at what's going on in all these promotions, where, like I said, it's just a grumpy asshole who happens to also be unlikable. And here's what'll happen. Yes, a portion of your fan base will get behind those guys because they're going to see them as cool. So what? If it draws money and it creates good atmospheres in the building, and and there's and enough of the fans dislike them, and they're drawing from both ends, from people who want to see them lose and the people and the rebellious fans who want to see them win, it can still work. I mean, the Horsemen drew, off of that same sort of, like, in some towns were Horseman towns, and they would get babyface reactions, and some towns was split. Some towns, 20%. We've seen that kind of dynamic before. There's nothing wrong with it. So I don't accept that as a counter argument. Yeah, people are going to think, look, we had to get away from like the NWO style cool heels where Kevin Nash and Scott Hall are deliberately trying to get over as heels. That's a different thing than your grumpy, prickish asshole heel who isn't trying to get over as a babyface, but accidentally gets over with a portion of your super smarky crowd, right? That's going to happen. I think that's healthy and good. I don't think there's anything wrong with that because, it's like you want to energize those people and draw them. And like Eddie Gilbert used to say, those, super hardcore smarks that are going to read the sheets and root for the heels, they're the backbone of the business because they're always going to be there. When you're down to your last 1,000 fans, that's who it is. So I don't know. I know this is kind of a tangent, but we just named 4 major promotions that are doing the same fucking thing with their heel stables, and I'm just so over it. And I'm ready for something new and fresh that happens to just be old and what we used to do. But we've totally gotten away from it, and we feel like this is the only way to get heel heat anymore. I want something different. There's just too much of it. And I like All Japan, but they don't have strong heels in All Japan.
No.
That's not the dynamic there, And it's like...
You had the Saitos for a little bit, and they were kind of like... But now they're obviously, uber baby faces.
I don't even know what they are. They're like tweeners or something. It's like... Maybe they're supposed to be heels, but I feel like the crowds like them. But All Japan doesn't have, like, super strong heel face dynamics, especially at the top. They really don't. But, I enjoy All Japan. So it's like, who does these days? I mean, you have to go to CMLL, right? It's like the only place you can turn right now. And the thing that bugs me, I'm gonna bury fucking Arena Mexico.
Yeah, let's go. Everybody, fuck everybody. Let's go.
The thing, and I watch the CMLL stuff. Do I watch every single Friday? No. Do I watch every single match every single Friday? No. Do I watch all 5 matches some Fridays? Yes. What drives me nuts about CMLL is the heavy emphasis on the Revelos Incredibles or whatever, where the heels team with the faces. Mm-hmm. Like, they do so many of those, and it just I hate those matches. It just takes me right out of it. And I understand why they do them, the tourist crowd, and I do understand sometimes it does. It's part of the storylines when enemies team with each other, but I feel like they overdo that too. And it's like I'm ready for strong babyface and heel dynamics somewhere where the heels are just grumpy pricks who you don't like because they're assholes, and not because there's an army of fucking guys in their stable who you're just waiting to run in on the match. I'm sick of it, and I'm over it, and New Japan is absolutely the worst offender.
Yeah, it's just it's just up and down the card, and it's so many guys, and yeah, it's rough. And this New Japan Cup has felt very, we haven't had, we just did it. We just did all 3 nights or all 4 nights right there for you. And it's like, think of how many of those nights had night 1. You have Evil and Yota Tsuji in their match. You have Gabe Kidd and Ren Narita in that night. And like you said, it's not like there's uber, great baby faces up and down the card. Elsewhere, there's also other heel units that are involved, but like ones that are just like overwhelmingly filled with this sort of stuff. Drill Maloney and Tomohiro Ishii was free of it and was kind of like, oh, hey, cool, great. They're just having a wrestling match out here. That's good. And then, it was really night 3 and night 4 that was just an absolute overload of it. I think mostly because the main event, that Finlay Evil night 3 main event, was just all of it, the entire 17 minutes or whatever was it, and then followed up by Taichi and Gabe Kidd the next day was just kind of like, all right, no, this is a lot. This is probably too much. Or maybe not the next day, next night or whatever. I forget what days both those were because I watched them out of order. But it was just a lot. It was just too much. And I don't know. I mean, here's what we have coming up. Night 5, we have TJP versus Drilla Maloney, Shingo Takagi versus Oleg Boltin, and Naito versus Jeff Cobb. Now, Shingo and Oleg Boltin, I'm looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun. TJP and Drilla Maloney, I think that'll be a lot of fun too.
Well, okay, now remember, and Chris Samsa and I discussed this when we previewed the New Japan Cup. It was originally the United Empire that Drilla Maloney turned on when he joined the War Dogs, and it was TJP that he turned on. So I don't think that's accidental that they set up that second round match to be between those two guys. So there is some history there. We'll see.
They put it up on commentary too. I think TJ was doing the commentary for the Drilla Ishii match, which again, you probably had the audio off or whatever. And they set it up pretty well. And like Drilla won, and TJP's like, all right, there it is. I'm glad. I want to face him, type of thing.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad that, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Look, CJ is not bad on commentary. I think CJ always does a nice job. No, he's pretty
good. Yeah, he's a good fill-in. He's a good fill-in. Drilla, not so much. Drilla, he should.
I can't speak on the Drilla.
He should go lift some weights. He should go lift some weights. He's better at that than he is commentary.
Yeah, well, he's. I'll say this for the Drilla. He's carrying on the DJW legacy, and we need guys we need some DJWs, and he is a very clear DJW in all of the right ways. I mean, that's praise coming from us. That's not a put down. But I didn't hear his commentary.
And then night 6, we have David Finlay versus Yuya Uemura. So you're probably going to get some shenanigans there. You got quarterfinal match here, Taichi versus Zack Sabre Jr., which I guess we should point out, too, that Gabe Kidd, we were talking about all the interference and all that sort of stuff. But they went with having Taichi defeat Gabe Kidd. Now, the way they got Gabe Kidd out of there was obviously the House of Torture came in and beat him up, and, that's how he got counted out or whatever. So Taichi moves on. So they're doing the Taichi versus Zack Sabre Jr., which I guess they didn't want to do Gabe Kidd versus Zack Sabre Jr. because they don't want either of those guys to lose or whatever. But I don't know, man. I feel like you needed a deeper run for Gabe Kidd here.
They could have booked the brackets different. Then.
I agree. It's a work. They can do whatever they want. It's a work.
I think they just wanted to have Gabe Kidd get knocked out by the House of Torture. That's all. So, ultimately, and I think, obviously Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. has a lot of history there, being the former tag team partners and everything. So, look, I'm not saying New Japan is all bad. There's a lot of things I'm enjoying. I don't know if a lot. There's some things I'm enjoying in New Japan right now, and there's things that they're doing well. But it's really hard right now with all this other.
I feel like they recently turned a corner, but now I'm feeling like they're going back in that direction this is just what Gato likes, and it's he loves this shit. We all know it's old news by now how enamored he was, watching old Memphis tapes from the early and mid 80s and stuff. He loves this shit. So, I mean, it's not going away until you get a change in the people at the top. Obviously. The other people too. I mean, Jado's his right-hand man. Obviously, Dick Togo is not opposed to this stuff. He came into the company and brought a lot of these similar ideas too, and he's literally part of the House of Torture. So until there's new people creatively, which, I mean, they're obviously happy with whoever is running creative here because of the track record and everything else, and they're chugging along. I mean, they're not doing awful business or anything, and you're not going to see a change because these guys like this stuff, and it comes out on Rich. It's been it was 2012, right, when the Bullet Club formed. I mean, yeah, it's almost 15 years of this stuff. It's not going anywhere. Eat at Arby's, I guess. Night 6, you're also going to get Umino versus question mark quarterfinal match. Then a question mark quarterfinal. We have to figure that all out. On night 5, you're also on night 6 going to get Goto versus Yuji Nagata, which there was a preview tag that I watched a little bit of that. The preview tag was on, night 2. They had Goto and Tanahashi versus Kojima and Yuji Nagata. And like I said, Goto got over, like he was the most over guy on that entire match. And I think it's going to be, I'm really looking forward to seeing Goto versus Yuji Nagata. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And we know that'll be bullshit free. And we know Goto is going to win that, but I think it's going to be pretty fun to have, Yuji Nagata, who can still go. Yuji can still go. He can still rise to the occasion. So I'm excited to see how that goes for sure. Yeah.
And then, that's this weekend, right?
That is on the 15th. Yeah. This Saturday.
Yeah. So, that's definitely something to look forward to. So, and then we'll see, he'll obviously survive that, and then they'll see what we have for him moving forward after, I guess, the winner of this. So, and we know what 2 of the quarterfinals are, and we'll find out the others as we move along.
Yep. And, so finals are March 20th, by the way. So where does that get us to next week? Oh, well, it'll be the day. Okay, perfect. Oh, it doesn't matter for you. You're off. You know what, Joe? You don't have to watch any of this shit anymore.
No,
you can bail.
You don't have to watch it
right now. You can do it.
No,
do it.
No. You know I have to watch it.
You don't have to. Next week I have to review the New Japan Cup finals, and you do not.
How can I not watch the New Japan Cup?
Well, you can watch it. You can watch it whenever. You know what? I guess that's what I should say. You can watch it whenever.
Well, yeah. And an IWGP title match. You tell me I don't have to watch. Of course I have to watch that show on the 15th.
You gotta watch that match. But.
Yes, gotta watch that whole show. I mean, come on, it's a big time show. There's no way I could skip out on that. I want to watch that show. I mean, I want to watch.
Great idea, Joe. You do a Flagship Plus, and I don't have to watch it then. That's great.
What the hell are you going to do on the show next week?
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. Man. Question.
You could burn an hour with
Q&A. Q&A. Tell me. No, those are always bad too. So.
Yeah, the quarterfinals and a world title match, of course. That's a big. If I was taken off this week, would I have skipped some of these first round matches? Maybe.
Pick and choose. Maybe pick and choose.
Would I not be super locked in? That's probably what I would have done. I probably would have, no full on attention maybe. But you got it. It's the New Japan Cup. You got to watch it. Hey, people want you to talk about it. You got to fucking watch it. It's something you can't skip. It'd be like skipping SummerSlam or something. We can't do that.
We cannot.
No matter how unenthused we are. We have to watch all this stuff. So.
All right, let's move on to quickly here. We'll do some of the American promotions here. AEW Revolution, the fallout from that show. So we, of course, did nearly 2 hours of it on Sunday for Instant Reaction Live. By the way, exclusively available on the $10 tier over at Flagship, patreon.com. But anything that you really could gather, obviously you watched Dynamite this week. You did the Thursday Dynamite review over also at Flagship, patreon.com, $5 tier for that one. But, what did you sort of take from the combination of Dynamite and what's going on with AEW this week, the post Revolution, the new directions throughout the company as we're heading into the Dynasty pay-per-view, they have a shortened window. These, the last 2 years since they've added so many pay-per-views, they used to have the ability to kind of fuck around for a couple weeks and then get into pay-per-view build. You kind of have to get into it right away. And I think that they were in an interesting spot here with this Dynamite where they go to Revolution. There's a lot of banged up bodies and people that are kind of, rough around the edges or limping or whatever. And they already have to start kind of working their way into that next pay-per-view, into that Dynasty. And I thought it was an interesting episode of Dynamite. A little too much backstage for me, a little too much my guest at this time with Renee Paquette, a little too much of that for me. But otherwise, I thought it was a decent enough show to kind of get us, some new directions heading into Dynasty.
Well, they got the short turnaround, which you kind of alluded to. The pay-per-view is on the 6th. Today is the 13th. So there's only 3 Dynamites before the pay-per-view. So they're not fucking around. We're going to get Moxley and Cope to see who's going to face Swerve in a couple of days here. And then they're basically going to have 2 weeks to build whatever that match is going to be, right? Because Cope and Mox will be on the 19th, and then they'll have the Dynamite on the 26th and the Dynamite on the 2nd to heat up either Cope versus Swerve, which they kind of teased already, or Mox versus Swerve, whoever comes out of that match. So they're just getting right to it because they don't have a lot of time to fuck around. They got that tournament going to see who's going to face Omega. I think Omega, whoever he faces, it's just going to be, a standard V1 defense where we're not going to feel like there's a threat to, they're not taking that title off him, not this quickly. It looks like they're going to do the Omega Okada match, whether that's going to be a unification or title for title, or, we'll see, but they're not going to take the title off Omega before then, which is why I kind of advocate for Speedball just to win the tournament, because he could have a great match with Omega at the pay-per-view, and it doesn't matter if he loses, because if he has a great match at the pay-per-view against Omega, even if he loses, it's going to be beneficial to him. Yeah.
He's starting from zero basically in this company. And having a hard fought match that he ends up losing to Kenny Omega is that's fine. You can do that.
They could have Omega endorse him and everything, shake his hand, raise his hand, whatever the fuck. Plus, he just had the best match on TV against Beast Mortos.
Yeah, the Mortos match was good. Yeah.
The 4-way is obviously going to be bananas and a crowd pleasing match, no matter who's in it. So he really, if he goes through and then loses to Kenny and has another great match, and let's face it, they're not going to have anything that's the floor is going to be very good if it's Kenny Omega and Speedball, right? Then he comes out looking good even if he loses. So that's what I would do. I've had enough of Orange Cassidy. I don't need him in that main event against Omega. Who else is alive? I guess they could do I see Ricochet Omega doesn't feel right now because Omega has to win. I don't know if you want Ricochet losing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to keep Ricochet.
I'm keeping him out of it, I think.
Yeah.
And he's going to beat Shibata, I think.
Yeah, but then you have your out with the 4-way. The perfect scenario is you have him come through and then he loses because Mark Davis gets pinned by Mike Bailey or whatever. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So I wouldn't put Ricochet through. Tony Khan, for whatever reason, there's a glass ceiling with Mark Briscoe that he doesn't want to break. I don't get it. Mark Briscoe gets great reactions in every building. He's enthusiastic. He loves his job. The fans love him. He cuts promos that get, his promos are excellent. His work. Who works harder than Mark Briscoe between the bells? Nobody. You might work as hard as Mark Briscoe, but you're not working harder than Mark Briscoe. He'll do anything that's asked. He'll bleed. He'll lose without issue. He'll work 20 minutes. He'll work 4 minutes. I mean, I don't know why Tony doesn't get behind this guy. So I don't think he'll win it either. So I would do Speedball, and I think they're going to do Speedball. I think it's the perfect match for Omega at the pay-per-view.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, it puts him over immediately as a guy that came in. And then, yeah, like you said, he would stand to gain the most from a loss. Ricochet would not, I don't think, gain very much from a loss to Kenny, because Kenny's winning that match. Kenny's moving on to All In. We all know that. But Orange Cassidy, who the fuck would care? I mean, that would be the most boring option, is Orange Cassidy. And Mark Davis is not going through to face Kenny Omega at Dynasty. No. We know that.
Like Mark Davis, Mark Briscoe. I mean, is that taped already, or is that live?
I think that's. I don't know.
Either way, I don't know the result.
I don't know the result either. Yeah, so don't spoil me. But yeah,
I think Briscoe will win, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if Mark Davis wins. So, but the point is, I don't think either one of them are going to face Kenny at the pay-per-view. Now, you could say Mark Davis has an outside shot because he's Don Callis' family. That's a possibility. So you can't completely write off Mark Davis. But, we'll see. So that's two. See, they've already got 2 matches booked for a pay-per-view because it's coming up on the 6th. So we just need the opponents. We need to know who's facing Kenny. We need to know who's facing Swerve. So as far as the Mox Cope stuff and doing another match next week, I know everybody rolled their eyes. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm looking forward to it. But look, I saw Dave Meltzer say that the pay-per-view exceeded expectations and did very well. I called that a couple of weeks ago. I felt like the pay-per-view would do very well. It felt like a hot pay-per-view. Outside of that weird go-home Dynamite, the ratings have all been encouraging. And even that weird go-home one where the demo was down, the total viewership was up. And the demo being down very much could have been New York, Chicago, Indianapolis, and some other markets airing NXT head-to-head.
Absolutely. 100% that was. I talked about it last week. I talked about it last week. I can't say I'm positive, but I do think that probably played a part in it. I just have to think that played a part in it.
And they had almost 12,000 people at the pay-per-view, a shade under 12,000 people. They've had a very good swing in California. My point here is, and I don't care who doesn't want to hear this, it's very clear that Mox Cope is not hurting business. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's helping business and have people coming at me with pitchforks and torches. You cannot make an argument it's hurting anything.
It's not hurting it. No.
It's not hurting anything. I don't know if it's helping. Probably not. It was probably the strength of the entire card that helped draw that pay-per-view buy rate. The crowds are all hot every city they go to. It's like everything is doing pretty well. And despite the fact that there's this feud on top that nobody likes. So it isn't hurting anything. And I'm not prepared to go all the way and say maybe it's just something that the vocal, smarks don't like, but the rank and file fan seems to be into it. I'm not going that far because it got no reaction at the pay-per-view. No one cared about that match. It was terrible. It's one of the worst pay-per-view main events they'll ever do. But I'm not of the belief that it's some huge mistake doing that match on TV next week because it hasn't hurt anything. And it's obvious part of that this has been planned a long time because whoever's coming out of that match is facing Swerve. So they're sticking to their plans. And we're obviously getting away from it after that because the winner is moving into a program with Swerve. So while I'm not looking forward to that no DQ or what is it, street fight? I don't even know what it is. But
street fight, I think they're calling it, right?
Street count anywhere. It's all the same shit. But while I'm not looking forward to it, I'm not like put off by it. I'm not like, oh my God. It's not that big a deal. I see where they're going with it and it's whatever. And
I definitely see it as
quarter-hour rating, and we'll just be done with it.
Yeah, I see that as. I do wonder if those guys knew they shit the bed on Sunday.
They have to know.
And
they're
said,
not dumb.
Can we get? We'll do another. We'll run that back. Let's run that back where we don't have to follow. Kenny and Fletcher and.
Well, the only way that's true is if Mox wins.
Yes.
Well, because if Cope wins, right, then this was always the plan. See, I feel like it's always the plan because Tony tends to stick to his plans at the top of the card. Hell or high water, right? Yeah, you almost have to respect the fucking stubbornness of sticking to it, even when, brochachos and now this.
It's pretty stubborn. There's a lot of times where it's pretty fucking stubborn.
But I mean, if Mox wins, then maybe you can make that argument that they wanted to redeem themselves, right? Because maybe they asked for it instead of just immediately moving to Cope and Christian and Mox and Swerve. But I really don't feel that's the case. I mean, I could ask around too and see, but I feel like it was always the plan to have Cope avoid the pinfall so that they can do a match on TV that they probably think is going to draw. They probably think that match is going to draw.
Oh, they do. Yeah, for sure.
And then determine who's going to face Swerve. So, and then we'll see what else comes together for the pay-per-view. Obviously MJF and Hangman, as we kind of suspected on the Instant Reaction Live, which you guys can listen to right now on the $10 tier, that feud obviously was going to continue on, probably a few pay-per-view cycles for that one, right? But now we have this weird layer where MVP is trying to recruit MJF, which obviously doesn't feel like a fit.
No,
the energy is a little different.
For a lot of reasons, it does not feel like a very good fit. No, you're right.
But you figure MJF, I figure he's going to maybe try to manipulate the Hurt Syndicate into helping him.
Oh, Jesus. We're doing that again.
And I am not encouraged by that idea.
No. I feel like we do that a lot with MJF.
But we'll see. I also think it's interesting that there's like a half a dozen or more people, top stars, who have made it clear that their intentions are to win the world title.
I like that. I think that's something that more companies should employ, is that, and they don't do this across the board with AEW either. And I've complained about it as well, where during this Mariah May, Toni Storm thing, nobody else wanted the AEW women's title. They didn't care about it. It was just kind of in its own little universe. But I think everybody that's a, upper mid-carder, if you want to say upper mid-card to semi-main event to main event or whatever, should fucking want to win the title and should make it known that, I want the title. But I know a lot of companies are scared to do that, because then it's like, oh, but then, but no, it's like if you're a relative, a star of some sort of, you should want to.
It makes your title important.
Yeah, it makes your title feel important. It makes it feel like, everybody wants a chance to be the top dog. Like, being the top dog in this company is the most important thing. And everybody should want to do that. Once they're done with whatever, because most of these guys, and a lot of the guys you're talking about, I kind of vanquished all their opponents right now. Like, that, you know what I mean? Like, Swerve has moved out of he beat Ricochet. It's over. I'm done with Ricochet.
Over.
Got
the robe back. Everything.
Right. Will saying, all right, Fletcher's done. He's out of I'm done with the Don Callis family. Now I want the title. Like, I think that's a really good way to do it, is that when you're distracted by something else that's taking up your time, sure, it makes sense to say, hey, I'm focused on Kyle Fletcher. I'm focused on Ricochet. I'm focused on that. But once you beat those guys, you shouldn't just be in a holding pattern. You should say, all right, I'm ready for the title now. So I like that. I want to see what they do with it, obviously, but I like that idea of many people on the show declaring their desire to get for it, to get to the title.
And you mentioned Swerve, you mentioned Will. He's going to try to go through the Owen Hart tournament to get his title shot. Cope obviously still has a gripe because he wasn't pinned. MJF has been making it known for months now that he wants to win that title back. Christian and his nonsense about he wants his contract back and everything, so he still desires the title. Jay White is still, floating around, and did he or did he not hit Cope on purpose? And, obviously he's saying he didn't, but I think this is all slowly leading to the badly needed Jay White heel turn, which is obviously coming very soon. And then you have Darby too. Whenever he comes back, he obviously has a gripe with Mox. So if Mox is still the champion, he's another guy that you can throw in that mix. And I might be forgetting one or two, but you have like 6 or 7 guys whose stated goals every time they're on TV is, I want the world title. And man, that's refreshing and different. And it makes the world title really feel important. And they're not all going to get there. They're not all going to make it there. They're not all going to win it. But it makes it feel like everyone has the ultimate goal in the company is, I want to be the world champion. And I do think that's really cool. And I don't know if Hangman's feud with MJF, I don't think he has stated definitively that he's coming for the world title, but at some point he's going to be in the mix too. But yeah, so, as far as coming out of the pay-per-view, they're not wasting any time getting geared up for the next one because they don't have time to waste.
Yeah.
So I think that's why you saw the promo heavy show and all of the new directions were pretty clear and in your face when it comes to that. And it's always a good time to debut a new person after a pay-per-view with Speedball making the debut. What do you think? I talked about this behind the paywall. I don't think he's a top guy, and I don't think he ever will be a top guy.
No, God, no.
Okay, so we agree on that.
No,
I mean,
I've thought that way for a long time with Speedball. He's a guy that I like him as a mid-card guy. I like him as a guy that can fill out your roster, but I think if you're trying to push him as a top star, if you're trying to push him as a champion, it doesn't work. He's
a likable mid-carder.
He's a likable mid-carder, and he raises the floor. I don't know necessarily ceiling. Like there's a lot of people really, really like Mike Bailey matches. I've been kind of not necessarily negative on them. I just don't think they're as good. Once you see one Mike Bailey match, you've kind of seen them all. They all kind of end up being the same. Now, this Mordos match was not the case. This one was completely different, and I like it. Maybe he's going to be, you know what? He might be one of these guys that is better in the TV format. He might be better when you say, Mike, you got 11 minutes. You know what I mean? You can't do 25 minutes. You can't kick out of 100 things. Like, right. You got 11 minutes. Go out there and do an 11-minute match and get out of there. Because where I really tire of him is those 25-minute matches, those long, we're you kick out of my move, I kick out of your move, and it's just there's nothing happening. There's no emotion. There's no reason to care. Like that happened at the last Maple Leaf Pro match. Him and Takeshita had a match that, on its face was good, but it was just like 20 minutes of these guys doing big moves and kicking out.
You've
and then
seen
grabbing
Mike
their
Bailey have that match 100 times.
Right. And WrestleMania weekend, you'll see him have that match 7 times in a whole weekend. And it's like, oh my God.
We did last year. Literally,
exactly.
That's what happened.
Like, I get it. I got it. So I do think that maybe the more restrictive TV format might be good for him. But absolutely, he is not a guy that goes beyond my mid-card. He may be TBS title or whatever, or TNT title, I should say.
Any title but the world title he can be in the mix for. But he's not a top-of-the-card guy. I'm not... we're not necessarily even arguing with anyone about. I don't think there's people who are clamoring for him to be the world champion. Yeah. But in terms of the expectations of him coming in, I think he's a popular mid card guy that you could put in the title, like they're doing right now. He's in the mix for the international title. Like that's exactly how you want to use him and to have good matches. And he's a fresh face to have good matches. Like they have a lot of guys who can have good matches, but he's someone new in the mix who hasn't worked with a lot of these people. I thought it was interesting how they had Megan Bayne attack Toni Storm. And then I'm like, oh, all right, we're moving Megan Bayne up. But then later in the show, she's still mixing it up with Willow and Stat. Mm-hmm. And Penelope Ford.
That segment.
Who never leaves my TV screen.
Why is she always wrestling?
Penelope Ford never leaves my TV screen.
Why is there so much Penelope Ford?
I would very much like her to leave my TV screen. She never leaves my TV screen. She's the new Sky Blue. Remember when Sky Blue was on every fucking Dynamite and Collision endlessly for months, having bad matches? Now it's Penelope Ford. But what the fuck? How did they have her attack Toni? Which is all right, something fresh at the top of the women's division. I didn't have any problem with it. Although I'm not sold on Megan Bayne yet, but it's something fresh. Okay. But then they still have her in the mid-card feud. So what the fuck is that all about? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I don't know. You have any thoughts on that, or are you just
I really don't.
nodding your head in agreement?
I just kind of nodding my head. Yeah, I was kind of, because when she came out and attacked Toni, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, they're going to get her in there with Toni, and then she's mucking it up with Penelope and those, and I'm like, well, okay, well, I don't know what we're doing here, but yeah, that Penelope Willow thing. Oh boy, that chair shot. Lance Storm's off the hook for a little bit. I don't think anybody will ever. Yeah. It will never replace the Lance Storm terrible chair shot. But Penelope rearing back and then going.
How about the Gato chair shot on Okada when he turned with Jay? Was that what it was? Was it with Jay White? Remember the Gato with the awkward?
Yeah, I think it was Jay White. I think you're right. Yeah, that one wasn't good either.
Time bad one.
That wasn't good either. This Penelope one, I think this. Yeah, I don't know if it'll have the cachet. It will not have the cachet of the Lance Storm one. But rearing back and going. Just barely touching her. What are you doing? It's her back, and it's Willow. It's like Willow. It's not like, oh man, I'm afraid of Willow's. She's pretty strong. I think she can handle it. You can give her a little shot in the back. They've
had a lot of ugly segments, and I just feel like
A lot of chairs. Like, you know what? The women of AEW, no offense, but maybe no chairs for a little while. Right?
Yeah, it always involves chairs. Right?
Maybe take a couple weeks off.
Thunder Rosa thing. Right?
Yeah, maybe take a couple weeks off with the chairs.
Yeah, I just felt like they were moving her out of that. They didn't have a blow-off match or anything really, but they had her attack the champion. So I thought that was the new program. It kind of like scattered folk. That's a weird one. So we'll see where all that goes. But yeah, so that's kind of what I got on the fall. Now the rating this week. Now you knew they were going to be up in the demo because we talked about how last week's
there was something funky with last week, and yeah, they were 23% up in the demo week over week.
Yeah, because I think the easiest explanation is 2 of the 3 largest markets in the country, plus another top 40 market in Indianapolis, plus all the smaller markets having NXT head-to-head. And it would make sense that they would lose the younger viewers and not the older ones for NXT, right? Like, it just makes too much sense that would have been what happened there. This week, as I stall to pull up the old WrestleNomics on my phone, and all right, so here we go. 628, so up in total viewership, and like you said, up to a 0.16, which is kind of where they've been living in the demo, around a 0.17, 0.16. So right back to normal there, with a little bump in total viewership too, coming off of the pay-per-view. So like I said, it's like, look, you don't get the sense that there's a boom coming, but the arrow is clearly pointing up in a lot of small ways.
It's like they hit rock bottom and now they're kind of up. You know, they're moving up a little bit. They hit whatever the lowest.
The stronger booking. I think it's been the stronger, more coherent booking, stories that people are more into than they were before. And I feel like
Kenny coming back is a big part of it too. I think he's a star. He's a tippy top star you got again.
Yeah, man. Kenny's back. Hangman's on TV every week. He's in a program with MJF. You know, and they've had Hangman on TV for like 2 months now.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, he hasn't done his little I go away for a month and a half or 2 months thing. He's been there every single week. Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, and I just think when you look at the pay-per-view and how strong, you know, if the reports that it's going to do strong numbers are true, then all those programs are strong. I think when you're well booked and things are all starting to make more sense and it comes through to the viewer in a lot of different ways when you're confident in what you're presenting because you have a plan and you're booking and then booking backwards to fill the gap. Like, that's what it feels like.
Of course, yeah.
You see these segments and you're like, oh, this builds off of what we just saw, and it just feels like they have a plan.
They were really stupid for a while, and it's obvious. Like, it's not just us that think it's stupid. Like, people watch it and think it's stupid. They don't feel like a stupid show anymore. It feels like they have their plan together. They have their shit together. They're not being a sloppy shop. And there was a long time where it was just a stupid, sloppy show.
Yeah. So, you know, and then the Collision, I think is live this week. So they didn't.
We were told it was live. Yeah, the chat room said it is indeed a live Collision.
Oh, the chat said so. You don't take my word for it.
Well, no, I'm just saying I'm reaffirming what you said. The chat also agrees that
the chat says something. Okay, you believe them, but I say, you know, when have I ever been wrong, Rich Craich? I believe it's in Las Vegas, right?
Sure.
Maybe you could,
if you said that, man.
Maybe you should ask the chat where it is, Rich. Right, ask the chat.
Yeah. Where this week's show is. Yeah, I don't know. I think it is Las Vegas. I think you're right. At the theater. At Virgin Hotels, Las Vegas. The theater.
Yeah. Just, you know, we'll see what the chat has to say, though. You ever see that Heidi Gardner SNL character she does, the spouse that's definitely not mad?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good bit.
So I'm over here folding laundry, Rich.
Yeah.
I'm folding laundry aggressively while you ask the chat. That's what I'm doing. I'm folding laundry aggressively. Yeah, that's in Las Vegas. So that's Shibata Ricochet, Mark Davis, and Mark Briscoe. And then looks like they're doing FTR versus O'Reilly and Strong. Sure, why not?
Yeah, that seems like a fun show.
Probably be really good.
Fun little collision, yeah.
That's got anything else on the AEW?
Nah, that's it. That's all I got for AEW. Let's go over to WWE and talk a little bit about them. So obviously you talked about the CM Punk Seth Rollins Raw main event on the Flagship Plus this week, breaking down both cage matches, Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay versus CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Which cage match was better? You'll have to listen to find out which cage match Joe Lanza thought was better on Flagship Plus. But
I'm chasing the clickbait, sir.
Right. Who do you think? Oh, man. People were wondering aloud. Oh, man. The polls, the betting line was probably Osprey versus Fletcher, but who knows? I got to listen and find out. It's too close to call, Joe. Too close to call.
I'm not giving my opinion away.
No, got to pay for that.
On the $5 tier, Flagship Plus.
But obviously the big news of that after the, I guess not after the match, in the match, Roman Reigns came out, dragged Seth out of the ring. That helped Seth, quote unquote, win the match. And then Roman beat the fuck out of him. And then he went back in the ring and beat the fuck out of CM Punk. So now that had been rumored for a while that is going to be the match. It'll be a 3-way match at Mania with Roman, Punk, and Seth. So that isn't locked in yet, I don't think, right? They haven't officially said that, but that looks like that's probably going to be.
It's been obvious since the Rumble that's where they're going. So, preposterous finish to a cage match, it didn't need to be a cage match then. Why couldn't you just have Roman come out and just do the same exact thing?
You're giving up your take. You're giving it $5.
I am giving them. Well, it's also on YouTube, so it's not like
true. But go click it on YouTube. Go subscribe, like and subscribe.
Yeah. But I mean, it's because they think a cage match will pop a number. That's why it's. It's not. It's kind of penny smart, dollar dumb in that when you use stipulations in that manner, you probably will pop a little number if you do that. You promise a cage match in Madison Square Garden. But what that does is it continually dulls down the stipulation so it means less and less each time you do it.
Right.
When you do finishes like this. So, but we're long past these bookers and these promoters caring about that kind of thing. We're long past that. And I really think it would be beneficial if someone had the guts to kind of reestablish what these things mean. Because if you really, truly reestablished the cage match as you can't get out and nobody can get in, and it's the ultimate, feud ender or way to settle a score, and you didn't do run-ins or any kind of shenanigans for years. You went 2 or 3 straight years. Right. It would mean so much more when you want to do an angle like this, and it just takes work and discipline. And in modern wrestling, you don't want to do the work and you don't want to have discipline. It's just what's going to get a number next week. I mean, it's not as bad as it was during the Monday Night War, but it's still the same mindsets that prevail, right? It's not any different. It's just, it's not as hard of a ratings chase as it was then, where WCW booked themselves out of business by chasing this kind of thing. But it's still disheartening because, the shows could be better. The matches could be better if we took more care in protecting these stipulations and ensuring that they meant more. I mean, we just talked about Mox and Cope. We don't even know what kind of match it is. And we didn't even find the answer, and we don't care because they're all the same.
Well, yeah, Jacob in the chat room was actually doing a lot of fun stuff as we were saying, like, oh, is it a this? Is it a that? And he listed, like, is it a street fight? Is it lights out? Is it Extreme Rules? Is it a bunkhouse brawl? Is it false count anywhere? Is it no DQ? Is it no holds barred? Is it anything goes? Is it unsanctioned? It's like, all these things are the same. Yeah. They're all the
same. They're going to have a crowd brawl, and, someone's going to get pinned in a stairwell. I mean, it's just... No, it'll end up back in the ring, ironically
That's
enough.
my favorite. That's always my favorite thing about fights. That we go out to the crowd, we throw each other on chairs, we throw each other off balconies, but then I'm going to grab your head and I'm going to toss you back into that ring, and then we're going to bounce off the ropes again. It's just it's so silly.
Yeah. So if we hadn't seen, and look, it's also because we watch, all these different promotions and they're all doing these kinds of matches. But if we hadn't seen, we'll just call it a falls count anywhere, or, this derivative of match. If we hadn't seen one in 18 months, people might be really excited about this one, setting aside the fact that a lot of people don't like the feud, might feel special and different. Oh shit, they're really going all out. But how many times do we see it? I mean, you see them all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Same deal with, like, that cage match where, Roman pulls the guy out and he quote unquote wins accidentally because someone pulled him out of the ring. It's like,
What stinks is I really liked at the beginning of the match, and I think you pointed this out in your Flagship Plus too. It was really cool that both Punk and Rollins opened the door and told the other guy, like, you want to go? Go. You want to win this match so badly? Get out of there. Go. Leave.
Yeah.
You know, and neither guy, like the dumb jock wrestler, was like, no, fuck you. Close that door. I'm sick of your ass. We're going to settle it right here, right now. And I'm like, all right, here we go. And then,
they established that they wanted to maim each other.
Right. And that's cool.
That it wasn't about winning, that it was about, I want to beat your ass. I've got you in this cage. And no, I don't want to leave and win because I want to beat you up. That's more important to me. Now, they went on to just have a regular ass match.
Right. Then everything after that was kind of just meh. But
you know, it may, you know, they didn't have a match. You could have just removed the cage and they had the same exact match. You know, they did one spot that involved the cage.
Well, Punk did that elbow drop that he made it look like he was coming off of like the top of the cage, but it was just kind of like sort of.
Nah, it's a superplex. It was
the superplex. That was the one. Right.
He teased the elbow. That's what you're talking. He teased doing the elbow off the top, which we knew he wasn't going to do. And then Seth followed him up.
That's right, because he was up there, and I was like, "Oh, Phil, I don't know about that."
Yeah, no, Fragile Phil's not dropping an elbow.
Phil, get down. No. I don't like that. I don't like that for you. You want WrestleMania? You want to get to Mania? Don't do that, Phil. But no, it was the superplex that they made use of the cage by making a superplex look impressive, but it was really just a superplex. Which, hey, kudos to them for that, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't really look at it that way, but when I think about it, it was just a superplex.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't look at it that way because Seth went up there and followed them, and then it just turned into a standard superplex spot. They may have done it off the top though, and not the middle. They may have done it off of one extra turnbuckle. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was off the top, but I think it was because it was in the cage and because they were climbing at it. It was, again, it's smart. I'm giving them a lot of credit. They took what was a normal superplex that you see 100 times and made it look a little bit more impressive, I thought, because it was in the cage or whatever. Yeah. So that's kudos to them. But regardless, like you said, it all got thrown away once Roman comes in and just drags him by the neck and tosses him outside the ring, and now he wins, and then Roman just beats everybody up, and it's like, all right, fine, whatever.
Yeah, and they didn't work it outside of those and again, you brought up what I brought up about inviting each other to leave. Outside of that, they didn't work it like a cage match. They just they did finisher trades and fucking finisher kickouts. They just had a wrestling match inside of a cage. They didn't have a cage match. So from that standpoint, I mean, the match was fine. I might even call it good, but it had massive flaws. They didn't incorporate the cage, and it had an utterly ridiculous finish. But look, the novelty of doing the cage match between two guys who have been feuding since Punk came back in MSG, we'll see. I'm sure it will pop a number. I know Raw was a little up in views this week.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that a little bit because I think that's interesting. We've been tracking it, obviously, on flagshippatreon.com. I've been doing write-ups and articles about Netflix's views with WWE and Raw, and they're up a little bit. They were up a little bit last week. So now we're obviously, for people that don't know, I think we've talked about this a bunch. We're talking about the March 3rd episode. We're talking about last week. We won't get this week. We will not get the cage match numbers. Yeah, we're always going to be a week behind moving forward. So what we are looking at here, March 3rd, is the night after, or the 2 nights after Elimination Chamber. So this is the hype from the John Cena heel turn, the Rock, the Cody, all that sort of stuff involved in this Raw. And it was up a little bit in views. It was at 3.1 million views, which is up from where it was the week prior, which is 2.6 million. But it's where they were in February too. February 3rd, which I think followed the Rumble. That was that episode too. It was like 3.1 million. So I think that's okay. But like, I don't know. I saw people lauding it as like, oh, what an incredible, oh, that's good. What a good number. What a good number. What a good number. And 3.1 million after all the hype and all this John Cena heel turn and people saying, oh, this is getting into the mainstream, and people are talking about it on ESPN and people are talking about it here and here and here and here and here. It doesn't seem like people went and watched Raw that much. And I brought that up to you as well. And I think I brought it up on Patreon too, is Elimination Chamber did not chart at all. Now I get that things are not going to chart all that much because they're not counting America. But the Royal Rumble did chart. The Royal Rumble had 2.1 million global views without America. So the Royal Rumble did get in the global ranking at the top 10. Elimination Chamber did not. So people either didn't care that much about the angle, or they were served some sort of video, or they were able to see the turn without having to go on to Netflix to watch it. You know what I mean? Like they went on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or wherever the fuck, and they got the footage and they said, oh, okay, cool. Because a lot of people were reacting to it. A lot of people were talking about it. Obviously got a lot of buzz all over the place. But my point is, like, people then didn't say, well, I have to go to Netflix to go watch this thing because it would have charted if it did. Because we saw the last Royal Rumble did chart. Elimination Chamber did not. And I think that is important. It lets us know that at least we don't know the full number, but we know less than 2.1 million people watched Elimination Chamber globally on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I think given the hype around, the Cena heel turn, you would have thought, and then here's, this Raw, which they did not say that anybody was going to be on this Raw, for the record. They didn't hype up that Cena was going to be there. They didn't hype up that Cody was going to be there. But just from a general buzz standpoint, you do see that it went up a little bit, that maybe people were like, oh, hey, let me check this out. But I don't know if 3.1 million is something to really go. I mean, again, like I said, they had that a month ago as well. They had 3.1 million. They had 3.7 million the second week that they were on Netflix. So this number is I'm throwing out the debut. The debut was 5.9 or whatever. I think we can pretty easily throw that out. But even when you don't throw that out, like that 3.1 is, it's less than what they had the second week on Netflix. It's slightly up from what they had the third week on Netflix, and it's exactly what they had a month ago on Netflix. So I don't know. I see that as a perfectly okay number, but nothing great.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where they live. They're going to bounce back and forth between like 2.8 and 3.2. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's where they're at.
That's the hardcores. That's the hardcores that are going to watch it. And then maybe you have your slightly less than hardcores that if it's something important, if it's post Rumble, post whatever, they'll check it out. But yeah, you got about 2.8 hardcore Raw viewers in the world, and they'll watch it no matter what.
Well, I want to see what the cage match does, because the way they count the views, I mean, you could pop back in and watch a match again. Meltzer always makes this point. You can go back and rewatch segments and it counts again. Mm-hmm. That's a big difference with Nielsen.
Oh, yeah. And that's why I talk about where people are like, oh, well, America, nobody in America, they don't have this pay-per-view. People can go back. If this Rock Cena Cody thing was so important, people could go onto the Elimination Chamber on Netflix and go watch it right now. People can go watch Raw anytime they want, and that's going to all count. And the fact that these numbers seem to be a lot of live viewers, and then a lot of people don't ever go back. Like, your live people that were probably watching it on USA are going back and watching it again on Netflix Live, but you're not getting a lot of those cursory rest of the week views, it seems like.
I know it's irrational, and we've talked about it before, but I'm someone who, to me, tracking down Raw on Netflix is a hassle to me. Oh, I got to go to the Netflix app, then I got to scroll through and find it. Like, it's a first world problem, and I'm just a lazy first world person, and I don't think I'm alone.
You're not alone.
Okay?
No. Everything is more numbers have shown that you're correct, that's how more people are.
So I looked for the cage match on YouTube first, because I'm more often than not, when I have free time and I just go to YouTube and see what the algorithm wants to feed me. Right. So usually I have YouTube up on the TV. Or even the laptop sometimes. But I looked for the cage match on YouTube and couldn't find it. So what I discovered was, for like the first time since the debut, I seeked out Raw on Netflix. So I'm wondering from that standpoint if the cage match will end up being a draw for them, and if they're up next week over this what they do 3.2?
3.1.
Just based on the power of the cage match, we'll see. Because I think me just parachuting in and then fast forwarding to the cage match, that's a view, even though I only watched 20 minutes. You know what I mean? By the way that they calculate it, that's a view. And then they divide the views by what they've been doing. And Meltzer has been pointing this out. They're not dividing the views by the live airing. They're dividing the views by the total length of the replay airing with all the commercials cut out, which that's how they're doing the funny. That's how they're manipulating their
funny math.
Minutes watched.
Yeah.
Yes. They're taking the minutes watched and all that and dividing it by the shorter show length to enhance the number, to fluff up the number of views. They've been playing that game since like week 2 or 3 because it's more advantageous to them. And that's the point that Meltzer always makes. He's like, if you do the math, what they're telling us is virtually everyone's watching the replay. And we know that's not true. We know that there's a lot of people watching live, but they're counting it as everyone's watching the replay so they can artificially tout a fake views number. So, and the first week that Dave reported that, I went back and I cross-checked all his math, and it all checked out. So, they're even Netflix is being a little sleazy from that standpoint. Meltzer is going to be on top of that every week, and whether they're doing it or not doing it. But we'll see what the cage match does. Now, NXT, I thought, was an interesting number this week because they had Roadblock Not End of the Line, which was a heavily hyped show with the two TNA interpromotional matches, the Hardys against Fraxium, and Moose versus Obafemi. You had the title versus title main event with Vakir and Julia. You had the street fight with Ethan Page and Javon Evans, and I forget what the other match was. Oh, Jordan Grace versus
what was it? Oh, Jordan Grace versus Roxanne. Yep.
That's a pay-per-view caliber lineup for NXT. It's
a big one. Yeah, it's got a name to it. It's a hype show. It's got the little name on it. Anytime they put the name on it, that's always a pretty big.
They not only slap the name on it. Look at the matches.
Yeah,
that's the same caliber as their pay-per-views that they do for NXT. They were flat.
Mm-hmm.
Same number of viewers in the demo as the week before. Now, what I don't know is whether that includes those 3 cities or not. But the total viewership was only up 5%. So, marginal. Last week they did 698. This week they did 732. So that lineup didn't draw. I mean, are you surprised by that, or you just think it's the same people watching NXT?
It's the same people watching. Yeah,
I think it's supposed to be the same people watching every week.
Yeah.
That lineup didn't help draw extra eyeballs at all. And that was a huge lineup. Which, by the way, I know this is going to stun you. Very overrated show.
No.
I mean, you. Now, I will say.
I haven't watched it yet. But
the 3 matches I watched were good. And I reviewed them behind the paywall on Flagship Plus. I didn't watch Ethan Page versus Javon Evans, which is allegedly the best match on the show. And I didn't watch Jordan Grace, Roxanne Perez. Because if I can avoid watching Jordan Grace, I will. I mean, Roxanne Perez, I will. But, if you use the old cage match, that show's sitting at 9.04, which, again, makes it like one of the greatest shows of all time. And I can assure you that the 3 matches I saw, that was not the case. They were good little TV matches. What I appreciated is they were all like 10-minute matches that didn't waste my time. And they got right down to business. But they were basically 3-star matches. And you can trust that and take it to the bank. These were like 3 3.25 if you're being generous, 3.5 if you really loved them. That's what these matches were. I watched Hardys versus Fraxium, Femi versus Moose, and Vakir versus Julia. And they were all like in the same range, but they were like 10-minute matches with all killer and no filler. That I appreciated because I found them on the CW YouTube channel.
You said that, and I didn't know that was a thing, but now that is going to be a thing that I'm going to check out. I did not know about that. That is
quick and
very
easy,
nice.
No backstage segments, and it's like they drop you in right at the bell too.
Oh wow! So oh my god! Because that's the biggest thing that I have watching WWE stuff is like I just have to get past all these fucking entrances.
No,
like
you just no bullshit. You just watch the match
right to the ring. Oh, okay. Hold on a minute. That's
and it's so I was like, all right, I'll bang these out. It's like because I still have not gotten around to scheduling it.
On the CW, yeah, I never did. I never have either.
Or I think I did, and then my CW, that's what it was. I think I did, and my CW affiliate switched, and now I have to redo it or something. Whatever happens is I don't get it anymore in the DVR.
You don't care, and you don't care that badly. So.
Yeah, and it's NXT, so I'm like, oh, great. That's a happy accident. I have to watch this
darn.
Shit,
I'll have to change that one of these days.
CW YouTube has all the matches anyway.
That's nice. That's a nice find. Thank you.
Then you don't have to watch Carly Bright, doing porn acting in between the matches.
Right. Well, she's an Evolve wrestler these days. She's an Evolve wrestler.
Well, yeah, because NXT is not developmental anymore.
No,
I don't know
Evolve.
who needs to hear that.
Evolve is.
Exactly. I mean, we talked about it last time with the pay-per-view. This show, there was exactly one developmental wrestler, Obafemi. That's it. Everybody else on the show was either a veteran like Ethan Page, a well-known established indie wrestler like A-Kid and fucking, Jay Malachi or whatever, or an international star that they signed, like the 2 girls in the main event. One developmental wrestler. That's it. So that's pretty much what they've done that right underneath. Now people still call it impulsively a developmental show. It is absolutely not a developmental show. It's on national TV with established professional wrestlers. Fucking Sean Spears is a champion on the show. He's 40.
I was going to say, he's got to be in his 40s by this point.
So,
Yeah, it used to be, there was a while where it was like a mix of vets and youngsters, and now it's just a mix of vets and like top wrestlers across the world that they've signed. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where they've...
It's creeping back towards the Levesque era.
It is. Slowly but surely it's getting there. Yeah, and now Evolve, which I did not watch this week, Joe, so I can't give you an Evolve review for this week. But Evolve is their true developmental show, I guess, these days. But I don't think anyone's going to watch that on Tubi. Did we get any numbers from Tubi, right? We don't know what the Tubi numbers are. I know that. Who cares? Who cares? All right, before we get to anything else, I do want to talk about this. We meant to talk... I wanted to talk about this... No, this is a perfect time to do it. It's going to do it. Maybe going to do it on a Flagship Plus or something, but this is perfect to do it here. WWE ID. Now we're going to talk about Maple Leaf Pro here in a little bit. They have a lot of WWE ID wrestlers. Did you see the recent tweets from the @WWE ID account? I'll start with the first one. March 9th, 2025, 3:56 p.m. Quote, a reminder to all independent wrestling promoters, ... 4, not 3. You can book all #WWE ID talent in your promotion. This includes all #WWE ID talent who are getting exposure on #WWE Evolve. Contact talent individually for booking info. So they followed that up with, on March 11, 2025, 3:32 p.m., saying, hey, independent wrestling promoters, ... For, again, the fans have spoken. They want #WWE ID prospects on your indie shows. Look at the likes. Fire emoji, point down emoji. Translation, WWE ID talent is not getting booked enough. And please start booking them a little bit more.
Which surprises me.
Does it?
Yeah, it does surprise me because I thought a lot of indie promoters would really mark out over the idea of having WWE on their poster. It hasn't worked out like that.
It has not.
If it doesn't surprise you, you were right and I was wrong.
I think it doesn't surprise me. Well, I guess I'm a little surprised that it's kind of, I guess it's twofold. I didn't think a lot of the talent that they signed was worthy of being booked by a ton of different independent wrestling promotions. Like some of the guys, I mean, there was a few guys that was like, all right, yeah, whatever. Those guys were getting booked anyway. And then a bunch of people that I was like, I don't know, those guys aren't really that good, or they're just kind of whatever. I guess I'm a little surprised that the indies so smartly sniffed this out and understand and realize that this is not really much benefit to us. We get to put WWE ID on our poster, but So I guess from your standpoint, I guess I do understand why you'd be surprised, because I think right now the cachet is that WWE is good and cool. And so that if you're an indie and you put, hey, we're working with WWE on our poster, that might, make people think, oh, cool, they're working with WWE. They're using WWE ID talent. But I think a lot of the promoters see through this. I think a lot of the promoters see what this is. And I think a lot of the promoters aren't that enamored with a lot of the talent that they picked. And they're just saying, nah, we're good. We'll just book people where we don't have to worry about wins and losses. We don't have to worry about them getting pulled. We don't have to worry about them doing this. Like, we'll just book this guy. It's fine. We don't need Cappuccino Jones. We're okay. We'll be fine without Cappuccino Jones. Oh, darn, we can't book Jack Cartwheel. That's fine. We'll book another guy.
Yeah, I mean, guys like Jack Cartwheel and Marcus Mathers, they were getting booked before. I mean, I don't know whether they're getting booked less or not, or whether they're getting booked the same and it's kind of the lesser.
I think that's I would assume that it's more the lesser that's doing it. But here's the other thing too with the WWE ID, and they're kind of talking about it here. They're like, contact talent individually for booking info. So it's like they don't want to be the ones that are facilitating these bookings, but they also want they'll retweet and say, hey, book this guy, hey, this guy's a WWE, but they still want the indies to reach out to these guys and book them. So it's weird. It's I don't know. It's kind of haphazardly done, and maybe I'm a little surprised it's not working out as well as they had thought, or I guess I had thought. But I don't know. I guess I'm not too surprised that the indies are looking at a lot of this talent and going, "Nah, we're okay. We're good. We don't really need this stuff." So I don't know. I just found that those tweets interesting, because the translation of those tweets are, "We're not getting enough bookings for these guys. Please start booking them."
Yeah. There's definitely some level of disappointment in the number of bookings they're getting, or they wouldn't be making posts like that.
No.
They'd be touting all the bookings that they are getting. I know we were just talking about the Netflix ratings. This is from John Orand. Have you seen this? This is why we desperately need Dave Meltzer and, Brandon Thurston. And I was going to say people like that, but they're really Is Rich Craig?
What do you got? Sorry, I was coughing. I'm back.
The old cough button.
I had the cough button. Yep. You caught me. Right? I was like, I can get this cough out. And you go, what do you think, Rich Craig? I'm like, oh, God damn it. All right, I'm here. What's up?
This Orand analysis, I'm going to read this to you. Ready? And I quote.
Oh, he's a fucking mark, by the way. But
while Netflix holds the title belt for largest streamer, 300 million global subs.
First off, I'm out. I'm already out. I'm already out. With that lead, I'm out.
Billions of dollars in net profits. Its foray into weekly live sports content with WWE Raw is a painful reminder that even Netflix isn't always finding a Netflix-sized audience. According to Netflix data, global ratings for Raw have averaged just north of 3 million households. You getting some red flags yet?
Hold on a minute, John. No.
A notable drop-off from Raw's Netflix premiere of 4.9 million. Wasn't it 5 point?
Yeah, that's wrong. Yeah, it was 5.9.
There's a lot of red flags. Analysts may want to see stronger numbers out of Netflix, but WWE execs should be pleased with their audience growth. After all, it's roughly double the average audience that Raw had on USA Network in 2024. Another red flag. Still, it's another data point indicating that a larger platform doesn't automatically increase demand for a sport by an exorbitant multiple. Netflix's 2 Christmas games, one with a halftime show by Beyonce, averaged 26.5 million viewers. Then it goes on to say, I don't know if this is relevant. I'll read it anyway. Maybe it doesn't matter. Sarandos, I assume he's some kind of executive with Netflix, suggested on the company's latest earning call that the current Raw viewership is actually in line with the internal modeling. Also, Netflix just announced that it sold out its title advertisements for the rest of Raw's season. So it could be the case that while Raw isn't a blockbuster success, it's also performing more or less as executives predicted. And it's a good reminder that Netflix has different goals than many of its linear competitors. It already has the scale. Now it needs eventized content that is attractive to advertisers, end quote. All right. So I know that you picked up on every red flag there.
Yeah. And there were several.
He downplayed the number of views the premiere did to 4.9 million for some reason. I don't know where he's getting that number.
Yeah. I mean, that number was publicly available and very easily available. It's 5.9.
He's calling it ratings. He says Raw has averaged just north of 3 million households.
So, yeah, that's weird because I did the averages of every. Do we want to count the premiere? I guess we'll throw the premiere in there. Might as well, right?
Yeah.
If you do the premiere, the average is okay. So the average, if you count the premiere, is 3.3 million every week. But when you take the premiere out, it's exactly 3 million.
But it's not households. They measure it by views.
Right.
Like, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
No, he doesn't know what he's talking about at all. That's not how they do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, look, I don't expect him to be in the weeds as much as a Meltzer is because it's Meltzer's. That's
right.
On his table.
He also needs to address. Did he address the difference of U.S. versus worldwide or no?
Not. I read everything to you verbatim.
Because I don't think he did that, which is an important distinction between what they did on USA before and what they're doing now on Netflix.
It's interesting, though, that he's acknowledging that the numbers are disappointing, but he's saying that Netflix is happy with them. Mm-hmm. And that's why it shouldn't matter. Because he says, verbatim, Raw isn't a blockbuster success. Okay? But he says it's also performing more or less as executives predicted. That's a very soft endorsement. And he's getting this straight from his, his overlords at both WWE and Netflix. And that's still soft as fuck. It's also performing more or less as executives predicted. That doesn't sound like a ringing endorsement of success to me.
More or less. That's tough.
So they're telling him, it's doing what we expected. Here, on the earnings call, Sarandos, I don't know the man's first name, or woman, I don't know who it is, but the last name is Sarandos, suggested on the company's last earnings call that current Raw viewership is actually in line with internal modeling. Again, not a ringing endorsement. Oh, it's in line with our internal modeling. Not, oh, Raw is a runaway success. Raw is exceeding our expectations. Raw is even better than we thought it would be. Nothing like that.
Yeah, in line with our internal whatever the heck. Yeah, that's not exactly.
And okay, they've sold all their ads for the rest of the season. Okay. I mean, of course. I mean, it's not like the show's a bomb. No one's saying it's a bomb.
Oh, no.
So I just find it interesting that Orand, who, Nick Khan adjacent, we all know that, been in the sports business world. It's like, it's a weird thing that he put out because it's not any kind of ringing endorsement of success, even though that's what he's being fed. And he clearly doesn't understand all the numbers that he's reporting either, which tells me that he's just handed those. Where's he getting 4.9 million?
So I looked that one up, and it looks like Netflix sent that out as a press release after the Raw debut, but I don't know why, because that's not. That's
not
Tudum. The Tudum number that they also have is different, because I'm seeing this here, January 9th, 2025. Netflix says that today announced that the debut episode of Raw on Netflix got off to a strong start, with the Monday night program capturing 4.9 million live +1 views globally.
Weird.
But then on Tudum it was 5.9. But I guess maybe that's, then people, the rest of the. So what happened is they released this a couple of days after Raw, and then we got the 5.9 once a bunch more people maybe watched it on demand or whatever.
Yeah, that's probably it. But it makes it's better optics to use the 4.9.
Sure, you got to use the Windhorse. You got to use the Windhorse fingers here, and why would you want to use that number over that number? Yes,
doesn't look like it fell as much. That's a full million that they haven't lost if you use the 4.9. So, anyway, I just thought you'd find that interesting.
Definitely. But I think this week's going to be a fascinating one to see what ends up happening with the rating with the cage. But we've said that a couple times already, and it's like 3.1. It just goes up a little bit, and then it goes down to 2.8. So we'll see if that holds true here next week. But that is it. Updated WrestleMania lineups. I did want to briefly talk about that, of what we got going on for right now. We just only have 4 matches. I thought we'd have a little bit more with Mania, but just 4 matches so far. We're over a month out, so it's whatever. But Cody Rhodes and John Cena, we know that's locked in. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, that's locked in. Gunther versus Jey Uso, that's locked in. And Io Sky versus Bianca Belair so far is locked in. But see if that actually holds true. Rios stick her beak in or something like that. So we'll see. But that's what we have so far for WrestleMania. And man, if you checked in on WrestleMania weekend, that is a very loaded weekend this year. Maybe not loaded in terms of good, but loaded in terms of there's a lot of shit going on. We'll talk about that when we get a chance. I mean,
it's interesting they're marketing the Dragon Gate shows as Dragon Gate USA.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Dragon Gate USA, The Rebirth. I think that's an important one. 24 shows on Thursday, Joe. 24 shows on Thursday. 24 shows on Friday.
Well,
everyone's avoiding WWE. They refuse to go on Saturday, because then Saturday you got like 9 shows, and then Sunday you got 2. You know what I mean?
Crazy. Crazy.
So
no guts. No guts.
So much on Thursday now.
They used to go against them and do fine. I don't know. What date is WrestleMania again? What is it?
WrestleMania Saturday is the 19th and Sunday the 20th.
Isn't that later than usual?
It's a little later. Usually it's like that first couple weeks of April. Now it's like end of it. Yeah, I mean, it's literally on Easter Sunday, which is a wild day to have a major wrestling show on, but whatever. Who cares? It's an excuse to get out of your family stuff. So
yeah,
I'm ready to use that. I can't wait. Oh, darn. I'd like to.
Not a big Easter guy.
Not a big hang out with the family guy.
Yeah.
Close family, fine, but all the in-laws. It's like whatever.
So there are a lot of little kids in the family, or no?
No, not really.
Well, then who cares about Easter? Because it's just
I just want to I just want to eat, and I'm like, all right, we've had enough banter. I'm good. I'm gonna go. So
the little kids, you get to do like the egg hunt.
Yeah. We still do a ceremonial egg hunt, but it's like we're all
Oh, what do you stick like $20 bills in the eggs now?
Yeah, or something like that.
That?
It's like $1. You know, my one aunt wants to throw it, but it's all like we're all like in our 30s, so we're just like, all right,
right.
You know,
she can't let go. She can't let go.
Right, we're like, all right, I'll go look for these fucking things. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the Easter Bunny's still a big production over here because they still believe in that too.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, they wake up, there's big baskets on the table. They're like, oh my God, the bunny came. You know,
yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah. If I still believed, that'd be fine. If there was little kids, I'd be a little bit more, but it's, I eat a meal, have the little fucking lamb cake. I'm ready to go. Let's hit the bricks, you know? Like,
when I was a kid, my dad or the Easter Bunny would get me, the complete set of that year's Topps baseball cards.
Oh, wow. What a birthday gift from the Easter Bunny.
Now I was like, maybe I'll continue that tradition with these kids.
You seen those prices? Are you kidding me?
It's not even that. They don't release them all at once. You get Series 1 with 350 cards. And then
so you can't buy that big ass box?
You can't buy the long ass box with the 792
man.
cards, which is how it came for years. If you just wanted to buy the whole set and avoid the packs, I would get it every year for Easter. That long ass box. 792 Topps full set. Now it's like, Series 1 is in stores. And then in June, they put out Series 2 with another 300. It's like, why do I got to complicate this shit? Why do I got to complicate it, Rich Craig? I just want the full Topps set. You can't do it.
It's really cool to just buy that big long box. I did that like one time and you feel like a champ.
It's outstanding. Yeah. And then I would get my binder with my sleeves and I'd spend all day looking at them, reading the back, and putting them in my binder.
Yep.
And I still have those binders to this day upstairs in the house of those full sets from 87 to 95 or whenever, I was too old to get a fucking Easter basket or whatever anymore. It's like, and they're now you can't buy the whole set. And I'm not interested in the boxes with you can find the chrome uniform.
That stuff. You're not ripping a pack to find a chrome auto. Yeah.
I'm not interested. I just want.
I want to look at the stats. I want to look at Otis Nixon's stats. All right. Could I just get an Otis Nixon and look at his stats? How many stolen bases did Otis Nixon have last year? Great. Perfect.
I don't want to pull a rare. I'm not interested. I just want the full set. I just want the full set. Okay. I'm not buying a box of packs and discarding everything that's not a rookie. I like getting a Nick Martinez card if I'm being honest with you. Okay.
It's so good. Do you ever go back and look? I always, I still have mine as well. And sometimes I'll go and open the binders and I'll just look and just be like, how weird is it? Like, why did I save so many Reggie Sanders cards? Like I look back and I'm like, why do I have like 2.5 sleeves of Reggie Sanders? Like why as a kid there's like weird guys that you're like, did I think that this guy was going to be like the biggest star in the baseball or something like that? But
probably did.
I probably did. Like, Otis Nixon. I have a ton of Otis Nixon cards. I have a lot of Reggie Sanders cards. And obviously Frank Thomas. I got a shit ton of Frank Thomas cards. That goes without saying. Traded a lot of Ken Griffey Jr. cards to get Frank Thomas cards. Don't regret those at all. But it's just funny when you go back and look at what you cared about as a kid in terms of cards. Which now would be very different than what these little kids do. But, me, I was...
the boy's into the cards. Even though he doesn't watch sports, he likes the cards.
Okay. Yeah.
So he spent...
But he's probably trying to rip them up to find a rare or something like that, right?
With Pokemon, he does. With the Pokemon, he understands all that. With the sports cards, I don't know. Like, he spent some of his piggy bank money. He wanted to buy some cards. So TLB took him to Target because... plethora of card options at Target.
Oh, there is that whole area, yeah.
So he came home with a couple boxes of packs, because they sell you a box with like 6 packs in it, and these packs have like 4 cards each now. It's ridiculous. I know we sound super old, but
gosh damn it,
the ice cream truck used to come down my block when I was like when I was his age, 2nd or 3rd grade, and if this doesn't age me, nothing will. My mother would hand me a $10 bill and say, go get me a pack of Marlboros. And they would sell them to me, by the way, the ice cream man, and do whatever else you want with the leftover money. And I would buy packs of Topps baseball cards. And they'd have 18 cards in them, 20 cards in them, The packs now have like 4 to 8 cards or whatever, depending on whatever you're buying. And yes, our ice cream man would sell me, an 8-year-old, a pack of Marlboros.
The money's good.
So
$10 is $10. Yep.
But now you buy like a box that has the packs in the box, right? It's all this extra packaging nobody needs. He came home and I didn't think about this, but he came home with a box of college football cards because with NIL now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
So he had packs of college football cards, which I found fascinating, you know? So, so that was interesting, but yeah, he collects sports cards, but he knows like one athlete. He knows like Ellie because of me. And he knows like, Bron Joms, he calls him. He doesn't even say his name.
Bron Joms. Bron Joms, yeah.
He's like, oh, I got Bron Joms. I'm like, all right, you know, that's all he knows. But he likes the sports cards because they're adjacent to the Pokemon, I guess. But yeah, I just want to buy the fucking $7.92, Rich. That's all. I don't care what it costs. You want to charge me? Someone in the chat says it's $50. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
That's a hell of a deal. Yeah.
How many packs are you going to buy at $6 a pop to fucking put the set together? That's, you know, you're going to spend more than $50. So, you know, I mean, to me, that's fine. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how we got on sports cards.
Well, I might be going to a sports card show this weekend, so I'm pretty excited. So
Remember when they used to have those all over the place every weekend?
Yep.
Like in every middle school?
My Fuddruckers used to have it like every month. It was a fucking card show every month at my Fuddruckers. That was the perfect. My dad, who would love to take me to Fuddruckers anyway, was like, we're going to go to the card show. And me and him would go to the card show. We'd eat some Fuddruckers, have a great day. What a great day that was. Every month.
I mean, we'd go every weekend. And, you know, it'd usually be at a middle school or something, you know, or a church, you know, a card show. And my father would hand me like a $20 bill, and I'd go one way and he'd go the other. And then we'd meet up again at the end. And I'd have to figure out how to dole out that $20, you know, and you know, and buy cards, you know, 1978 Johnny Bench for fucking $6. And then, right. you know, whatever the fuck. And that's how I built my collection, going to fucking card shows with these. And all those card dealers are like the same guy. They're pretty sleazy guys, but they're not too sleazy. Like they're a step above drug dealer, but they're definitely a step below honest businessman.
Yes.
You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Like they're definitely wheeler dealers and you know.
Well, it's just, cards have gone the same way that everything has gone with the internet. Now you can't get a quote unquote, like you can't find anything, like you can't find a gem. Everybody knows the value of everything.
Yeah.
You pick up a card, you look it up immediately. You look at a price. This guy already knows the price. It's like, there's no, you know, cause I used to buy retro video games a lot, and it used to be great. You go to a garage sale and some guy's throwing all of his Nintendo games. He has no fucking idea what this stuff is. Or his wife's like, get rid of this shit. You're a grown man. You know what I mean? So this sad sack guy's got to sell all of his games. And I'm like, oh, hey, I'll give you $20. And he's like, the wife's like, yeah, get rid of it. Get that shit out of my house. And I'm like, hell yeah, there we go. All right, thank you. So, or you go to like swap meets or whatever. Nobody knew what they had. Nobody had any clue. But now everybody knows. So it's like you walk, everything's exactly the price it should be. Everything's of exact value it should be. And it's just like, this isn't fun anymore. You know what I mean? There's no art of the deal anymore. There's nothing going on. You just, you know.
It's and everything is graded. I have no interest in having my cards graded.
Oh my God.
I'm not that deep. I mean, I want to touch the card too. I don't want to have my card in a fucking case with a grade. I'm never selling them, Rich. You know what I mean? I'm not investing in baseball. I like the joy of having a baseball card in my hand, you know, and so I'm not interested in the grading. You know, I want to be able to touch them and all of that. So, you know, that has all changed too, you know, where you got to send it out to get fucking graded and all of this. And I don't know. I don't have any interest.
And then find out that your card that you liked is a 8.2 because the cut is a little off. And you're like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but like card shops don't really exist anymore. Those were huge during the junk.
They're starting to come back a little bit. They're starting to come back. In my town, there's a couple new ones have opened up. So they're starting to come back.
I would love one to open up. I'd go to it all the time just to look around. I mean, there was one with walking distance when we were kids, and we used to just.
Oh yeah, I just fucked around. I'd buy they had mystery packs. I would always buy their mystery pack. Never good cards. But as a kid, what a value. It was like $1 and there was like 10 cards in a paper bag. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And it was like, It's probably how I got all my Reggie Sanders cards. And I was like, hey, whoa, another Reggie Sanders. Cool.
Yeah. We you know, as kids, we'd bring our $2-3 that we had or whatever.
Right.
Walk to the baseball card shop. And I would go through, he would always have boxes labeled commons, 10 cents a piece or whatever, you know, and I'd flip through those and look, oh shit, a 77 Don Gullett. I've been looking for that, you know, and every now and then in the common box, you'd find something that shouldn't have been in there. You know, you're like, oh, there's an 81 Robin Yount. He fucked up.
Yeah,
you know?
or a guy that you like a little bit more than he liked, or isn't worth anything, but you thought that player was cool. You're like, oh, like I have a ton of Ray Durham cards, which I'm sure they were like, yeah, Ray Durham's not that good, man. Like, you want a Ray Durham card, you can get it, but I'm sure as a kid.
In the common box.
Yeah, he'd be in the comment box. I'm like, fuck yeah, another Ray Durham. Hell yeah. Here we go. Or Joey Cora. I used to love Joey Cora too. So it was like, oh yeah, here we go. And they're like, yeah, you can have it, man. It's all good.
Our guy would honor it though. Like if you found a George Brett in the common box, he'd
He's like, I fucked up. It's all yours. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, he would banter with us. Like looking back, he was probably planting them in there to have some fun, you know, because we were little kids. But he would banter. He'd be like, "Oh, you found a George Brett in there? Oh, that was a mistake." Like he'd be calling the other guy over. Well, you got the George. But in hindsight, I think he was just having fun with us. You know what I mean? And acting like it was a problem for him that he had to sell it to us for a dime. Right. You know what I mean? Because maybe the card was worth $4, but he doesn't care. You know what I mean? He'll take his dime. And yeah, like you said, it would probably grade out to a 5 now anyway, and not be worth anything. So, but yeah, I would love for a card shop to spring up. I haven't walked into a card shop probably in 25 years. They just all disappeared after a while. So if they are coming back,
they're coming back. Yeah, cool. Go look in your area. You might find a couple of decent ones around. But anyway, I don't know how we got here. I guess wrestling. Oh, we got to get to MLW. Let's get to MLW here, right?
Yeah, of
Let's do it. MLW Intimidation Games available for
Why the fuck else would I have watched it if we're not going to get it?
We better talk about it because I watched it too. But I think we're back, man. I think we're back because over the course of this show, and it wasn't easy, and I don't really know how we got here, and it was very disjointed and seemed edited out of sequence. But all we need to know is at some point during the show, our new leader, Cesar Duran, who is now the president of MLW, has fired Eric Bischoff. He is gone. Joe Dombrowski said Eric Bischoff is gone from MLW.
Kayfabe.
You think he's coming back?
Hopefully for real.
I hope for real.
I mean, all right. So
he didn't go to this show. He wasn't at this show, for the record, right? Because the backstage stuff they filmed was definitely at.
He was at Atlanta because he was at Super Fight in front of the crowd.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Or was he in front of the crowd at Super Fight? Now that I think about it.
No, he was. Because remember I joked that he was like, I love this place. And I'm like, no, you didn't. You got out of here as soon as you can. You hate center stage.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, he did.
He's like, a lot of memories coming back being here in center stage. I love this place. I'm like, no, you don't. You went to Disney as quick as possible.
Yeah. No, so he was there because this was the second half of Atlanta.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
So he showed up at One Shot in New York. And then he was at the Texas show, the Dallas area one, and then he was at this one. So he did 3 shows, which he did 3 events that ended up being 6 YouTube shows. If he's gone. I hope he's gone.
I hope he's gone too, yeah. So
because his presence was obviously a major negative, and that's not just because I hate the guy. Like, it just made the show worse.
It was just weird. It never made sense what he was. It was like he would show up and he'd start out by cutting a babyface promo, and then he would start like bad mouthing Alex Kane and Matt Riddle, and then the fans would like boo again. And then he was kind of like every segment you didn't know if he was going to be a babyface or a heel. And then he would kind of make matches, but not really. And then it just never made any sense. Like he fired Alex Kane. Matt Riddle just brought Alex Kane back. Then he got mad at Matt Riddle for bringing Alex Kane back, and then he's just gone. Now it's just like, what's going on here?
He fired Alex Kane, and Alex Kane was on every show anyway, and then Matt Riddle brought it. Why does Matt Riddle have the power to bring someone back?
I don't know.
That Eric Bischoff fired. And then Dario Cueto got the papers, and the ones that had top secret stamped across the front.
Yes, right, which is never a good idea. If you have something that is actually top secret, do not stamp top secret on the manila envelope that contains them. It's it's just going to make people think that there's something important in that top secret classified document. So just like if you're going to rob a bank, do not bring the sack with the money sign on it. Just a bad idea. Find something more discreet.
Yeah. So then I guess Dario Cueto usurped the power back because now he's in charge again.
He like took did we ever find what was in the papers? We never found what was in the papers.
Cesar Duran. I always say
Cesar Duran. Yes, please.
Cesar Duran.
That's our new president, please.
Yes.
Do we know what's in the papers?
No, I never revealed what was in the top secret documents.
Okay, I'll do all the backstage stuff here right now because we're going to forget if we do it like match by match or whatever. But we start off the show with whatever the fuck, and at one point we go backstage and Eric Bischoff is backstage. He never was in front of the crowd here. He was just backstage here, and he's fucking around backstage, and Alex Kane walks up. He's like by the bay doors or whatever. He's by some, backstage area, and essentially Alex Kane's just like, I'm going to be here because I don't really respect you. And Cesar's the new president. Because earlier in the night, they announced that Cesar Duran was the new president. And Eric Bischoff's like, that's bullshit. I don't agree. Get out of here. And Alex Kane like locks him backstage or whatever. So Eric Bischoff grabs his phone and does the great thing where he has to pretend like he's making a call. You got to pretend like you're making a call. So he grabs his phone. He hits one button. He goes, yeah, give me Court Bauer. Like immediately. It's like nobody answers the phone that quickly, Eric. Like that's not how it happens. So he hits one button, puts the phone up to his ear and goes, yeah, give me Court right now. And then he turns. But unfortunately, he turns and shows his phone screen to the camera. My man was not on a call. He was just still he was on the home screen still on his iPhone. So.
And he didn't perpetrate it well either because he quote unquote dialed.
Right. He dialed. It took him one button. And then he did that thing where when you're doing a fake phone call, you can't respond too quickly.
Right.
Because he's like, yeah, give me Court. No, I need him now. Yeah, right now. I need him now. Yeah, let me talk to him right now. It's just like, hold on.
It was a two-way or a walkie-talkie or something.
Right. You got to give it a little more space. You got to say, yeah, I need to talk to Court. And then wait. I need to talk to him now. You can't but when you do and you're not good at doing the fake calls, anyway, he's like, I have to talk to Court. And then he goes, all right, whatever. So he hangs up his phone. He goes, what the heck? And then for some reason, like 3 minutes later, we get a video of Cesar Duran in like a press conference. There's like flashbulbs going off. And Joe Dombrowski says, Eric Bischoff has been fired. And we're like, Cesar Duran makes a landmark decision. Eric Bischoff has been fired.
Right. So I guess the secret paperwork hold the power and make you the boss?
I don't know.
There was no angle to explain.
Nothing made any sense. Yeah. So earlier, I guess I should explain earlier in the night. This is so wild. Well, by the way, if this is confusing for you, it's just as confusing watching MLW Intimidation Games because I feel like
not more. Because then after Bischoff was fired in the commentary, because there's no continuity, the Christian Cologne guy's like, oh, we can thank Eric Bischoff for this hot match.
Yes, in the main event, he Joe Dombrowski's like, this is a very unusual match, and I'm not sure about a Contra unit. And Christian Cologne's like, Eric Bischoff's in the business of making the most money because controversy creates cash. And then Joe, I think he's doing a great job at the top of MLW because this match is money. And it's like, he just got fired.
We just saw him get fired.
But not official, not like in person fired. Like Cesar and Eric Bischoff live in different universes and cannot see each other. So like
only that one time in the closet. Remember?
Yes. right, exactly. So Eric does his segments with Alex Kane that are unrelated to him getting fired.
Yeah.
Later in the night or earlier in the night, I don't even remember if it was later or earlier. This stuff was all out of order. Cesar Duran comes out for another insane segment of Cesar Duran, Selena De La Renta, and the guy. I forget the guy's name.
Dioro or
whatever. Yeah. So Cesar comes out and goes, hello, Renegades. I'm Cesar
Renegades. Renegade. Nobody considers himself a renegade.
A renegade. I'll tell you, Renegades. And then
he had to call it because in Lucha Underground he called them disciples.
Yeah, I think they were disciples.
What did he call them? It wasn't disciples. It was what did he call the fans? The Lucha Maniacs or someone in the. Let me see if the chat knows.
Someone in the chat will get it.
No, it takes a second to catch up. But he called the Lucha Underground fans something, so he has to call the MLW fans something since it's so he calls them renegades. Where'd they even come up with that?
I have no idea, but I have no clue. But he comes out and he's like, my renegades, hello. I have a great announcement for all of you. I've talked to my man, Court Bauer. I love the Court Bauer. And I am the new presidente of MLW. And they go, yeah. And Selena goes, Father, does this mean I don't have to beg for anything? And he goes, no, you must still work very hard. And then she just starts like turning on him right away. Like they acted like they were together when they come out. And then Selena's like, I don't have to beg for favors anymore or something.
What favors
I
was
don't
she
know.
getting?
And then Caesar's like, no, you must still prove yourself. And she freaks out and goes nuts. And then Dioro walks
The
up.
believers. The believers. That's what it was.
Hello, believers.
The believers.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Hello, my believers. I have many fine luchadors for you today. Yes, the believers.
It's so fucking ridiculous. What is happening on this show? So then,
my monster Matanza.
Yeah.
My monster Matanza. Yeah.
Oh my God. So then, like, Selena gets mad and starts freaking out. They're already turning on each other, even though I don't know why they're together. I thought they hated each other, but now they like each other. I don't know.
Each other. And what does he make her beg for? She doesn't beg for it. She's never begged for anything.
I don't know. I thought Dioro was missing. He's back?
Yeah, I guess so. He was standing there.
He was standing there.
None of this ever makes sense.
It never makes sense. The Selena De La Renta and Cesar Duran universe makes no fucking sense. Oh my God. So anyway, then Dioro, the most handsome man Christian Colone's ever seen in his life,
yes,
goes, Selena, I got a question. And then goes on one knee. This guy has no charisma at all. I'm glad this guy is good looking because this dude is a fucking zilch.
Yeah,
and I think he's legit. Isn't he married to this woman?
He's a mimbo, right? He's a mimbo.
I guess he just goes, Selena, and he goes on one knee. And he goes,
yeah,
with that amount of inflection and charisma. And then Cesar Duran passes out.
Yeah.
Into the waiting arms of Ricardo Rodriguez or whatever the fuck he's called in MLW.
He can't believe it. He can't believe it. even though he's like aligned with the guy. This was one of his henchmen.
This is one of his henchmen that has impregnated his daughter.
Right. And he made him put the mask back on and do henchman things at different times. But he doesn't want him to marry her. Even though he doesn't like her. He doesn't like her, but he doesn't want the guy that he doesn't like to marry her. Wouldn't he want the guy he doesn't like to marry if he doesn't like her?
No, I don't know. What is this?
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
And then, like I said, 2 segments later, we get like Cesar Duran in a fake press conference with a voiceover of Joe Dombrowski saying that he's fired Eric Bischoff. It's like, what is it? What?
And Eric's fake phone call, he was like, I want to talk to court now. I'm in a loading dock. And then he just hung up. Like, what's the loading dock have to do with anything?
I don't know.
I'm in a loading dock.
Get me out of here. What is happening?
I almost feel like they edited and cut important things out that would add a lot of context to the stories they're trying to tell.
Or it's just random, it's not. I don't know what was the order. Like it felt like everything was out of order.
I know it always feels.
But like you said, there's just no continuity, and it never. No. Like you said, there's one segment that got cut that would have made everything make sense that is just missing,
right. And it gets cut. And we are quite literally the only people paying attention, and no one else notices or complains about it. Because no one else is watching this stuff. I mean, a lot of people are watching. How many views does that fucking show have on YouTube?
Let's go to the old YouTube and find out.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's on this. Mine's on the segment where Matt Riddle gave Tom Lawler the painting. 69,000 viewers.
Yeah.
And at David Walden 309 says MLW is the only modern pro wrestling I watch.
Hell yeah.
David Walden 309.
Fuck yeah, David Walden.
I'm gonna comment right now. Hell yeah, brother. There it is.
Yeah, do it. It says only in all caps modern pro wrestling that I watch.
Hell yeah, brother. I just put the comment there. So
and then everyone else is just ripping bitch off for making a very clearly fake phone call. Oy. Oh, I will say. Oh, we'll get to that, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. None of these backstage you look at them, I write them down, I take notes, and none of them make sense.
When you finally sit down and think about it and think about them in totality, you're like, what the fuck was any of this?
Yeah, I just know that Eric Bischoff is fired in kayfabe and hopefully is gone for real as well. Can't you see him just popping back up on the next fucking show, though, or showing up?
Maybe he's busy. Maybe he doesn't want to be here, so he's going to go away for a little bit. But I think he'll always, if he needs a buck, he'll call court again and say,
he adds nothing. Okay, let's compare the shows that what was the last show he wasn't on? Was Holiday Rush and Lucha Apocalypto were the two. No, Holiday Rush he was on.
He wasn't. That was the one on Christmas Eve, remember?
Yeah. It would have been Slaughterhouse and Lucha Apocalypto from Cicero is the last time he wasn't on the show. And I guess if we just pull up, sort them by videos, they'll be in order. So let's see. Do they muck it up with a lot of match? Oh, they got a lot of matches broken into. That's annoying. Oh, they got them behind the paywall now.
They also put some stuff. After a certain point, they go behind the paywall. So I was going to say, I don't know if you can actually do that anymore.
No, we can't even look. Oh, well.
Nevertheless.
Yeah.
We move on. So, all right, let's actually talk about the matches now for this Intimidation Games, which was essentially just a preview for Battle Riot the entire time. Like, you got that damn Battle Riot commercial. You got every single break. Every single break, the promotion for the Battle Riot main event. But anyway.
Well, yeah,
We start off the night with Okamura versus Ariel Dominguez. Your guy, Okamura. I can't believe he's still getting these bookings.
Yeah, man. He's, that's Kojima's traveling buddy.
But was Kojima on this? Oh, I guess he was, because he would have been on the first
show,
part. Yeah, okay. Because I was like, he wasn't on this show, so how the hell did he get here? But I forgot.
No, yeah.
He was on right.
Right, he was on the first half.
Super Fight 6 or whatever. It was Super Fight, right? Wasn't that the one?
Not only does Okamura get booked, he wins squash matches in MLW.
Yeah, he beat the fuck out of this Ariel Dominguez guy.
Ariel Dominguez, yeah. Didn't stand a chance.
We were told by Christian Colon that Okamura is one of the hardest strikers in Japan. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
He doesn't even wrestle in Japan.
What?
The man... Christian Colon's a little confused here. He thinks that Okamura is
I thought he said he's the hardest
one
striker
of the stars of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and is a hard striker. The man is a luchador who wrestles in Mexico who almost never throws strikes. That's the reality. It's the complete opposite of what Christian Colon. Now, if you want a guy to do some arm drags, you found your man. Okay, hardest striker in Japan must have been thinking of someone else. Definitely isn't Okamura.
First blood tag team match. So we had this other weird backstage segment where the Rogue Horsemen are backstage and they're like arguing or whatever. And they're like, where the hell is Brett? I haven't seen Brett all day. And then Brett shows up that exact second, right?
Of course. Yeah.
And does like that. I need you guys to go out there and you guys got to win this match because this matters for all of us or whatever. And then they don't win the match. And then Brett comes out like a segment later and he's fine. He doesn't care. Just whatever, but I don't know. Again, all this felt out of order. I would love to see the recording schedule of this. But anyway, first blood tag match. This I actually liked. It was Boomaye Fight Club. Alex Kane and Mr. Thomas versus the Andersons, Brock Anderson and CW Anderson. And it was 5 minutes. They went crazy. What's her Faye Jackson actually did something for the first time ever in MLW.
I know. She finally earned her envelope.
She was chopping Brock, and I was like, there we go. All right.
Chops. She finally did something to justify her existence on this show. And CW Anderson gleefully was the one to bleed. He was lobbying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the other, did you notice once again, the Andersons in a non-standard tag team match where Brock does not have to tag in and out.
Oh, you're right. They don't trust him to tag.
They do not allow him.
What is the deal with that?
Same as the Von Erichs. It was the same thing when they were there. Court Bauer will not allow this man to have a regular tag team match.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even put two and two together. What?
Once again.
It's so bizarre, but he's not good, but the man could be in the ring for a second, right?
He's not good, but he's not like awful either. He's fine. Like, check this out. Brock Anderson, in his MLW history, has had a tables match, a New York City street fight, a Texas tornado match, and now a first blood match.
What the fuck?
Every time.
That's really
and I guess
weird.
early on, they won like a squash match. And
yeah.
It's like, it's always it breaks down to like some big brawl or it's a gimmick match. It's very bizarre.
Anyway, Alex Kane and Mr. Thomas get the easy win here. And the Bukkake Fight Club, which they have never called him that since the time that they said it, which sucks.
No, Bobby Fish said it. That was a great burn.
Yeah, right. It was a great. They have not went back to the Bukkake Fight Club. Unfortunately,
he was like more like the Bukkake Fight Club. Hilarious.
It's great stuff. It's good bands.
He's never been back on comms, and he should be because he's very funny.
He is very good. Yeah, he's very good. But all right. Next match was fucking horrific. MLW Women's World Featherweight title, Delmi Exo versus Tara Zepp.
Oh, you weren't into Tara Zepp?
No, Tara Zepp. No, and Delmi Exo is brutal, so no, this was bad.
Like Tara Zilch.
Yeah, yo, got her ass, but it was luckily it was only 3 minutes, so not too much. Then we had a national openweight title. Brett Ryan got this is the segment where Brett Ryan got just minutes after screaming at his unit that they had to get the win. His unit not getting the win, he just walks down to the ring and just like nothing happened or whatever. MLW national openweight title 4-way match. Matthew Justice, Akira, Bobby Fish, and Paul Walter Hauser. Who, by the way,
stock in the company.
I was going to say, you ready to?
Let's do it.
Let's talk about it. All right. So this match is whatever. Matthew Justice won. It's whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. You don't care. Trust me, you don't care. I promise you don't care. MLW names Paul Walter Hauser executive producer, signs with Artist First for representation. From the desk of MLW, Los Angeles, California, Major League Wrestling is proud to announce that award-winning actor and wrestler Paul Walter Hauser has been elevated to the role of executive producer within the organization. In addition, MLW has signed with Artists First for representation, where Hauser's management company will spearhead the brand's expansion into TV and streaming rights, as well as brand licensing opportunities.
Look, I don't know what any of that means, but it can't be bad. Right?
Yeah,
unless he's
for sure.
Unless he's getting a cut now. I mean, he obviously has connections. So I thought it was going to be some kind of union, and I'm like, Court, what are you doing? You don't want to get mixed up with these unions.
It's like a production company or a talent representation company.
Yeah. So I was like, that was a close one. But I guess the guy's going to have connections and try to help him, guy likes the wrestling, Rich, this Paul Walter.
He does like the wrestling. He took a big bump here. He went off the apron through a table and kind of missed the table and did not miss the floor with his head. He hit the back of his head real hard in this match. But he tries. I'll give him this. He tries.
You see, I said he liked the wrestling. Oh. I didn't say he was good at the wrestling. He does enjoy it, though. He does enjoy it.
He did cut a great promo after this match where guys got in the ring and Paul got on the mic and said, you know what? You're just one of these rich guys that has his underlings do all the hard work for him. You know who you remind me of? I'm thinking, okay, here we go. Steve Jobs at Apple. I'm like, what? He's like, do you think Steve Jobs was what made Apple? No, all the coders, all the people that wrote the code for Steve Jobs. That's who made Apple. And I was like, what a weird, all right.
That's who we went with, Steve Jobs.
I was like, he really is anti-Steve Jobs. He doesn't like Steve Jobs at all. Not Tim Cook, not current Apple guy Tim Cook. He went after Steve Jobs. I was like, all right. It was just really weird, really bizarre.
Not Elon, which may have been topical.
Right. It's Steve Jobs. He's been dead for a number of years.
And who, by all accounts, did a lot, didn't he? Yeah. Oh, he didn't do a lot. Yeah. I don't know nothing about the Apple.
He had good thoughts about things that they should do. Good marketing, good, that sort of stuff. But not really. He was not Wozniacki. Wozniacki's the guy. If you want to,
you heard it here, folks. Rich Craich, no respect.
Steve Wozniacki is the guy. He was the real coder of the team.
Rich Craich actually thinks Steve Jobs was an imbecile.
Yeah, right. And he's glad he's dead.
Yes.
He died in 2011. I thought he was more recent. So yeah, he's going with he probably just watched the Jobs movie like the other day. Right.
For immediate aggregation, Rich Craich says Steve Jobs, rest in piss.
Right. Oh God! But
with your stupid turtleneck.
Right. Yeah, turtleneck, black turtleneck, and then he started the whole thing of like every tech bro being like, I just wear the same outfit every day because it's one less decision I have to make every day. Like, fuck off, go to hell. I get to the office at 2:30 a.m. because I work hard. Fuck you.
Yeah. So are you telling me he's the original Rise and Grinder?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, he's basically that the Theranos girl. Did you ever watch any of those documentaries about her?
No.
Oh, I think you would like that. I think you would like. There's some Netflix ones about her. She like changed her voice to sound more masculine. It was very weird, very weird. She's in jail now. So,
wow. All right.
But she wore the turtlenecks as well, and got to the office at 3:15 every morning, and it just all this like dumb shit. It's like, I eat the same thing every day because then I don't have to think about it. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Very robotic.
Yeah. And she was really weird because she was like, I talk like this now. And it's like, that's not your fault. Everybody was like, what are you talking like that for? She's like, I have to sound like I'm a CEO now. That's what CEOs sound like. And it's like, very weird. She had a lot of problems. She had a lot of things that probably could have been.
Sounds like it.
She should have probably went to therapy, but instead she's in jail. So that probably didn't work out great.
Well, what'd she do? Rip off some investors or something?
She ripped off a lot of people. Yeah, she did some like you would send in your blood to her, and it was like, we're going to disrupt the blood testing it was really weird. It was hard to explain, but it was all bullshit. It was all bullshit, and it didn't work. So yeah. Anyway, Elizabeth Holmes is her name. There's some good documentaries if you want her. So anyway, what happens?
This is a world I'm just so far into. I've heard of all these people.
I think you'd be fascinated by the Elizabeth Holmes thing. I think you would find her descent into madness fascinating. So you should probably watch that.
Convicted of fraud in connection with a blood testing company.
See?
Theranos. Okay.
Theranos.
So she owns the Theranos, and she was doing some fraudulent blood testing.
Correct.
Doesn't sound great.
It was something where like they were like, well, we can test blood quicker than anybody else, but they couldn't. So they were just like, tell this person they got cancer, whatever. You know what I mean? It was just like they weren't even like, you know what I mean? It was just like awful stuff. It was really bad stuff.
Or worse, just tell them they're healthy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're fine. They're just whatever. Yeah. We can't actually test all this shit, so just fucking, I don't know, just tell them they're fine. Yeah.
It's like when one of the kids falls down outside and comes in, I'm like, you'll be all right. Just get out of here.
Right. That's what they were doing. So yeah, they can't.
Yeah,
they're no longer around. But and she's in jail. Anyway, the big blow off of this was Paul Walter Hauser's in there, ranting about Steve Jobs and the little man and all that sort of stuff, and Brett Ryan Gosling goes, money doesn't buy you everything, but it does buy you convenience or whatever. And then like all these security guards come out and they all beat up Matthew Justice and Akira, and it was all to a bunch of people to run in so they could build up to the battle riot. Because then all the baby faces ran in, and then it was just everybody ran in, and they're whatever.
You assured everyone that they don't care, and then you explained anyway what happened. You're a completist. You can't help yourself.
Well, we have to, like you said, we have to let people know what's going on in MLW.
Because who else will?
Because if we don't, who?
Are John and Wei Ting doing this?
The hell no, they're not talking MLW Intimidation Games. I don't think...
we get into this on Wrestling Observer Live with Semp and Alvarez.
Yeah, I don't think Semp and Alvarez are doing it. I don't think Big Vinny V and Alvarez are doing this either. And Brian and Vinny, I don't think they're covering MLW.
Okay, who else is there? I don't even know.
I don't think there's a Fightful post show after every MLW.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they're not doing. That's right. No Fightful post show. Not with the Sour Grapes guy.
No, none of those people. Yeah. Wade. I don't think Wade's getting on there. I don't think the torch is getting lit for MLW.
No, they're not doing it. So
who else?
So someone's got to bring. I can't think of any others.
We must catalog. We must catalog the history of MLW.
Is the Wrestling Inc. podcast with Mike Morgan still a thing?
Mike Morgan. I don't think Mike Morgan. I don't know. That name doesn't
ring a
bell.
He got in trouble.
Oh, did he?
Something.
Oh.
Yeah, some kind of investment scheme, I think, or something like that. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But he was doing that where it was Mike Morgan and Raj and Glenn Rubenstein, but I know Raj hasn't done it in a very long time.
Yeah, I think Rubenstein's still there. You're talking about, I know who you're talking about now.
Matt Morgan.
Matt Morgan. I'm like, Mike Morgan, who the fuck's... Yes, Matt Morgan. I do think Matt Morgan got himself in some troubles. Yeah.
Yeah, not... Who did I say? Mike Morgan?
Yes.
Not the crafty right-handed pitcher from the 90s.
I don't know who Mike Morgan is. Actually, I think it looks like he's in. Oh my God, he's in politics. It looks like
Matt Morgan.
Matt Morgan is. Yeah, he is the former mayor and current deputy mayor of Longwood, Florida.
I was going to guess school board of a southern city, but that's
pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. That's generally what you end up with. Anything on his crimes to come up on?
I got nothing on the crime, so I think you're wrong. I think you're off
Maybe
base.
it wasn't Matt Morgan. I'm pretty sure it was Matt Morgan. Matt Morgan was mixed up in something.
I can't find it.
Pretty sure it was Matt Morgan.
I can't find anything.
Sure it was Matt Morgan.
All right. Well, I don't want to.
All right.
Oh, wait. It was. Oh, one second. Okay. He was. All right. Morgan was linked to a former tax collector of Seminole County, Joel Greenberg, via payments that Greenberg's office made to Morgan's company, Blueprint Enterprises, for consulting jobs. However, auditors wrote that they found, quote, no evidence of work product. Morgan was charged with no crimes.
Okay. All right. Well, that's why I said allegedly, so he can't sue me.
Right. So apologize to
Longwood's I apologize to both Mike Morgan, the crafty right-handed pitcher, for multiple major league teams, and also Matt Morgan. Mike Morgan played for.
Oh, he had a good run. Yeah, really good run.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
3 different runs with the Cubs.
8,
I remember
9, 10, 11, 12, 13 teams. Mike Morgan.
Good for him. And that's in an era where that didn't happen that often. You know what I mean? Like that.
He had a couple 5-win seasons. Mike Morgan. Only took 240 innings to get there.
Yeah, but he got there. All right. There was actually a good match on MLW, by the way. Kushida versus Neon. This is good.
This match was so good that I have privately recommended it to people to go seek out.
Yes. It's free on YouTube and it's good. It's very good. Everybody should go watch this. Kushida versus Neon. I mean, hell, you should watch the rest of the show. It's only 2 hours. You may as well watch the rest of this thing. See what we're talking about, right? Don't do that. Don't do that.
Well.
But Kushida Neon, you should go watch. This is a lot of fun. I like this match a lot.
Yeah. Did they break this out into a separate video? That would be handy.
That would be great. Probably not.
They did not. No,
probably not.
Doesn't look like they did. But they've been uploading a lot of their classic matches as individual uploads. So if you ever wanted to watch Jacob Fatu versus John Hennigan from a few years ago there, they've got that up there for you. Pentagon Jr. versus Ray Phoenix has 515,000 views or something like that. Swerve and Matt Riddle, maybe the best match in modern MLW history.
That was a hell of a match. Yeah, I remember that one.
Jacob Fatu versus Leo Rush.
Don't remember that one. Yeah. Fatu was pretty fun there.
Yeah, of course he was.
Had a very fun run there. But yes, Neon Kushida, you should definitely go watch it. Kushida trying really hard, a lot of grapple. Kushida's trying to do grapple, keep him to the ground. Neon trying to fly all over the place, so that kind of interaction between the two. But yeah, a legitimately good match on MLW, which seems hard to believe that. I can't remember the last time I've said this was actually a good match that you should go and watch on MLW.
Yeah, like a real,
like an actual good match. Yeah.
Neon was pounding the wall in the back afterwards. Did you get the notes on that?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I was upset. I didn't see the subtitles though. What was he? He was just going to be in Battle Riot though, right?
No. Mystico and Mascara Dorada came out to console him, and basically Mystico was just saying, "Sky Team has taken over Arena Mexico, and Neon, if you will join us, Sky Team will take over MLW."
All right, I'm fine with that.
So,
that works.
Yes, I didn't realize that they weren't together in MLW simply because it's a different company, but
I guess I see what you're saying. It's not the same universe, I guess.
Yeah. So it's like now he's officially part of Sky Team and MLW as well as CMLL.
Oh, good for them. Yeah, Sky Team. They're going to be a hell of a group. They're not going
top
anywhere.
Draws.
It seems like they're not going anywhere. Yeah, absolutely top draws. And then we had our main event. The Contra Unit, Akira Kwan and Mads Cruel Kruger versus the Filthy Bros, Matt Riddle and Tom Lawler. Before the match, Matt Riddle gifted Tom Lawler a painting in a horrible segment, like one of the worst segments you'll ever see. Like both guys, like Matt Riddle being like, "Hey, bro, I got you this painting, man. It's awesome. Check it out, man." And Tom Lawler's like, Tom Lawler going over the top too. He's like very self-aware. I don't know if Riddle's self-aware. I know Tom Lawler's self-aware. But they just exchanged a painting, and it was really terrible and
dumb. It was a recreation of the I Am an Art Expert.
The Sistine Chapel, I believe it was.
Sistine Chapel, that's what it was, right?
Yeah,
the thing on the fucking roof.
Yep.
Right. That's what they recreate. So they're touching fingers.
Yeah.
Not hacky at all. No one has ever
done that ever before. Yeah.
Made jokes about that specific painting. I've never seen that before.
But it's like they're like talking about this painting, and then all of a sudden some production assistant comes over and he's like, guys, you got to get to the ring right now. And they're like, oh, bro. Oh, man. All right. We'll have to put the painting away. I'm like, what is happening? Get to the ring. Wrestle. Yeah. What?
It's, again, why does MLW have to try very badly to be like 5 years ago Raw? Like Raw, it doesn't even do this.
Raw doesn't do these things anymore. They don't do this. Like, hey, bro, I got you a gift. Oh, man, what is it? Oh, it's a painting, bro. Oh, whoa. And it's like, what is this? We're still
copying Raw from the McMahon era.
Yeah, stop.
Like when are we going to catch up? You know what I mean? Like, why are we still doing this?
She's also added nothing. They add nothing to the show.
Nothing. They make the shows significantly worse because you're embarrassed to be watching when they do this stuff. Like last time with the fucking weed pizza. The pizza infused with the weed.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, right.
With the weed muffins on top. They're eating pizza with weed muffins as the toppings.
Hilarious.
And the room is filled with smoke. So which is it? Are they smoking the drugs or are they eating the drugs? Apparently they were doing both.
It's both, yeah. As Eric enters the room. It smells like a skunk in here. What the hell's going on in my office?
What's going on in here?
Just dumb. You don't have to be MLW, be less dumb. You don't have to be so dumb.
Who's sitting there? Okay, here's the problem with this. Okay, I can't accept that anyone thinks it's funny.
There's no way. Well, maybe who's the guy that said he only watches MLW?
Does
that
David
guy.
Walden 309 find it funny?
I think he does. We'll have to find out. We'll have to ask him. We'll have to bring him on the show.
If David Walden 309 is listening, I would like to know if you find you really did reply to him. Hell yeah, brother. I like that.
I did.
Well, you know what? I'm going to ask him right now.
Let's do it live on the air. Yeah, find out. Hopefully,
David, I have a question. I too am a
renegade.
I too am a renegade.
Yep.
And love me some ML Dub. Do you find the hilarious, all caps,
but see, I feel like you're leading him into it then.
Matt Riddle segments such as eating weed pizza as funny as I do?
All right. Are we still going? Or are we done? Yeah.
All right, let's see if he answers.
All right, yeah, we'll find out.
Here you go. Joe Lanza Flagship.
There it is.
David, I have a question. I, too, am a renegade and love me some MLW. All right, there it is.
Yeah, all right. We'll find out. We'll report back over the week.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get a little notification, right? If he.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I mean, you're going to be refreshing no matter what. I know.
Well, he that means he's going to get a little notification, and maybe he'll answer me. All right, or maybe he's a bot. Who knows?
No, I think he's a real renegade. No, he's a real renegade.
309.
No, he's a renegade for sure.
Think so?
I think so.
He does. All right, he's got some.
He's got nothing. The YouTube is not great. He's got like one video or whatever, but that's all right. I don't upload playlists on my normal account anyway. Yeah. So.
No, absolutely not. Okay.
Leave my man alone. Just trying to enjoy some MLW.
I'm leaving him alone. I just asked him.
Just one.
I'm a renegade too.
Yeah, it's true. By the way, no contest in the main event here. It's just a bunch of people started brawling, and we just threw the match out. So,
yeah, match was garbage.
It was terrible. Yeah, it was no good at all.
Match stunk. It was awful.
Yeah. This is all leading to the Battle Riots coming up pretty soon here. Another March 5th. April 5th from the Commerce Casino and Hotel in Commerce, California. MLW World Tag Team titles, Cozy Max, Okamura, and Satoshi Kojima versus the Intergalactic Jet Setters. That might be okay, right?
Nah, Kojima's not going to take any bumps.
Nah, sure. Yeah, okay, fine.
Okamura's Okamura. And
He's the hardest striker in Japan. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but
it's true.
Joe, for the first time in a very long time, I'm going to say the name of a Joshi wrestler, and you're going to ask me a question, and I'm going to answer yes. MLW Women's World Featherweight Title match, Delmi Exo versus coming into MLW, Shoko Nakajima. Joe, do you have a question to ask me?
Yeah, is this someone with like a fluffy dress doing a princess routine?
No, it's the tail. God damn it, Joe. The one with the tail. This is the one with the tail. When you always
this is the one with the tail. The little feet.
The one with the tail.
The furry feet and everything.
God damn it! I
All right.
thought it was a layup.
The one with the tail.
The one with the tail. Joe, Rich, is this the one with the tail? Yes. For the first time in a very long time, I can tell you, yes, this is the one with the tail.
I wasn't going to play along with your little gag.
You like her. You always thought she was a good worker too.
She's a good worker.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand the animal feet and the tail, but I was impressed with her work.
Her grabs. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, she's in there with Delmi Exo, so that's it's gonna be.
Not gonna get anything out of that.
No, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. I love how Delmi is just like the one in MLW now, because it's like every other woman comes and goes, and it's just like, well, we'll just put the title on Delmi Exo. It's fine. Like, she ain't going anywhere. It's fine. She'll be here. MLW World Middleweight Title match: Mystico defending against Templario.
Mm-hmm.
They
set that up on the last show.
Is it for Mystico? No, I don't think he's going anywhere, I guess.
Beat him in the tag match. Yeah. To set it up.
And then we have the 40-man battle riot for the world title. So big-time stakes here. It's like Royal Rumble 1992 all over again here. Matt Riddle putting the strap on the line. This was Eric Bischoff's genius idea, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Remember last week he invented Battle Riot, even though this is Battle Riot 7.
He was tapping himself on the chin and saying, I think we'll call it Battle Riot. Right. Like he was some kind of genius.
Right. So good. It's like, I'm going to put that title, yours, Matt Riddle, I'm going to put it on the line in a battle royal. It'll be 40 men. I don't know. It's like you said, he goes, we'll call it Battle Riot. It's like, yeah, I know. This graphics already on the show. That's a Battle Riot 7. We're well aware it's Battle Riot. But anyway.
We've been doing these for a decade, sir.
Right. Matt Riddle, Kojima, Paul London. Thank God Paul London's in there. Bobby Fish, Okamura, Jesus Rodriguez. Sorry, I called him Ricardo earlier. He is Jesus Rodriguez here. Kushida, Hechicero, Barbaro Cavanario, Donovan Dijak, Brett Ryan Goslin, Atlantis Jr., Alex Kane, Brock Anderson, Juicy Finau. Great. Ugh. And then Paul Walter Hauser.
Well, it's because they're in California. So
Right. Fill them out with.
And then the rest of the men are mystery men. And
whoever shows up to the building for free will enter Battle
Riot. We'll get kimchi. We always get kimchi.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. You always get a kimchi.
There's got to be a kimchi appearance. I'm sure there'll be a lot of other Southern California wrestlers since Juicy Finau is there. And they did add another match, Rich Craig.
Oh.
It's Atlantis Jr. and Star Jr. versus Cavanario, Magnus, and Ultimo Guerrero.
Okay. All right. I like it. That'll draw in California, too.
Do you think they asked Ultimo Guerrero to be in the Battle Riot, and he asked what it was, and he was like, that don't work for me, brother.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm not.
I don't love that.
None of them like working Battle Royals. You're getting hit from behind. You don't know what's going on in there.
The ring bounces too much. There's too much bouncy ring. There's too many bodies. Somebody can roll into your knee or whatever. Yeah, you don't need that if you're.
Because the only guy announced is Atlantis Jr.
Atlantis Jr. He's young. He's young. He's fine. He bounce around.
Maybe he's winning.
He's winning the strap? You have Atlantis Jr. winning the strap?
No.
Oh, I was like, oh my God, be a turnaround.
This is for the title. Matt Riddle has to beat 39 other men.
Yeah.
In theory. Does that bother you when they put over the Royal Rumble? I'm going to beat 20. I'm going to throw 29 other men over to that.
Yes. Out, right? Yes. It's
right?
WWE. Of course. I'm the guy who gets mad when they say that you have a 1 in 30 chance of winning the Royal Rumble. You do not.
Right.
That every 4-way match you have a 1 in 4 chance of winning. That's not how odds work. It's not. Some people are better. Every basketball game, you do not have a 50% chance to win. Right?
True.
Like in a vacuum, yes, you do. But that's not how things work.
Well,
sometimes
Steiner understood that.
He got it. Yeah, exactly. But
right.
Michael Cole does not.
Because he's a genetic freak.
He's a genetic
freak.
Yeah,
and he understood that he had a better chance. Yeah. He actually broke that all down perfectly. you can question the odds he gave himself, but he
or how he got there, but he got there.
Right. But he understood it wasn't a 33.3% chance, right? Because he's a genetic freak.
Right. Yeah, so he got it.
Samoa Joe's fat. Like he understood. Yeah. Like he understood the concept. College graduate. That's why.
Michigan, yeah. Old Scott Rexsteiner.
Was he shoot Michigan or was he gimmick Michigan?
Yeah, he might have been.
Might be gimmick Michigan, right?
Let's see. Scott Rexsteiner. Let's see. I like how he did not put. I like how I searched him.
Michigan.
Shoot Michigan. I love how I searched him not as Scott Steiner. The easiest way to find Scott Steiner. I typed in Scott Rexsteiner.
Yeah.
Thinking that would give me if he went to the University of Michigan.
Did you spell it right, or did you?
Of course, I know how to spell Rexsteiner. Come on.
It didn't fix it for you.
Nah.
All right.
Rech Steiner. I love it. Yeah. No, he was there. All American.
He got married in 2000. Did he marry the girl in the chainmail? Did he marry?
No, I don't think he did. Medeja. I don't think he married Medeja.
He didn't marry Medeja?
I don't think he did. No.
You think he dicked her down? What do you think?
I think he probably gave it to Medeja once.
Right.
Well, it said he got married in June of 2000. He was married in
2000.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Yeah, well. Why are you assuming a pro wrestler is a faithful?
Because, my first instinct is...
Why are you assuming that?
My first instinct is this pro wrestler who was on the road with a large-breasted woman certainly would not have done anything with her because he just got married to another woman, so no.
Well, how do we know that Krista possibly is not Medeja?
Because Medeja's name is, let's see. It's not her. That's not Medeja's name. Medeja's name is Mindy McCullum.
All right.
Mindy McCullum. Yeah.
How is that known? Well, I guess
at the time, yeah. Well, back in the day when you had to, it's a little harder to find this shit. So,
well, back in the old Observers, Scott Steiner (parentheses Scott Rexsteiner) with Medeja (parentheses Lindsay McCullough) or whatever you said.
What did I say? Melinda, or I don't know what I said. No, that's actually not her name. Hold on, her name is Melinda Medeja Flores. Oh, her name is, I don't know what's going on. No, her name was McCullum then. She got recently married.
All right. Basically, I have no idea what her name is because you gave me a lot of different options there.
Her real name is Melinda Medeja McCullum was her real name.
All right. So she is Medeja.
Yeah.
She's really a Medeja.
Well, she's a shoot Melinda, but her middle name is Medeja. But that's a good middle name. I would use that name too.
Yeah. No, it's much better for wrestling. No doubt about it. It's one of his freaks, right?
That was one of the freaks, but it was one that
top freak. That's the top freak.
Yeah, it was a top freak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was the one with the comically large breasts. Remember her? One of the NWO girls. Oh, she had no, like very large breasts, like very weird. Like I don't even know how to look her up.
Yeah, I don't know if I was locked in to 2000. Late stage 2000 WCW.
Yeah, it was. I don't even know her name. I looked up NWO large boob woman. I don't really want to do this anymore. That's not gonna. It did not.
You think he gave her the old Steiner recliner or what?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know. Oh, Minka. Minka was her name.
Oh, Minka.
Minka.
All right.
Yeah.
Very exotic.
Yeah.
Just like Medeja.
Minka. Yeah, Minka was her name. If you look up Minka large breasts, I think it'll come up.
Right.
Yeah, Boobapedia. Did you know there's a Boobapedia? Not safe for work. Not safe for work, folks. Not safe for work at all. Let me tell you that.
I did not know there was a Boobapedia.
But there is a Boobapedia. Yeah, she is the largest breasted Asian woman in the world, apparently.
So. Oh, these are comically large breasts.
Yeah. You see Minka? Okay. Yeah.
This is not even remotely attractive.
No. It was really weird. I remember when she came out and everyone was just like, ooh, that's strange. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just dumb. This is like Morgana the Kissing Bandit. Remember Morgana the Kissing
exactly.
Bandit?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, this is just stupid.
Sue Williams with a great comment in the chat room says, Medeja does look like a Mindy. She does look like a Mindy, absolutely.
She absolutely looks like a Mindy.
Who now works at the diner by your house. If the diner by your house is still in operation, she works at the diner now. Mindy.
Yeah.
She does Sunday shifts at the diner just for some extra cash.
Minka Triple X, legendary Korean adult entertainer. Oh, she's a Korean porn star.
Ah, okay. I didn't know she got into the. That's her, Minka.
Into the trade.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Into another. From pro wrestling to Korean porn, it's like that's a natural leap to me. I'm not even stunned by that.
Well, I think I'm guessing it was the porn and then the wrestling, but I don't know. Who knows? Who's to say?
Yeah, right.
All I know is Big Sexy Kevin Nash definitely found this woman and was like, oh fuck, we got to book her, man. Yeah, like,
found her.
Right.
She got jackknifed. That's for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he had a thing for the ladies of that
persuasion.
Yes, definitely. So he definitely saw her in something. No, the other part. The other
Korean?
part. Yeah.
Okay.
He was a big fan of. Remember Nitro Girl Che? Nitro Girl Che?
No. How do you know these people?
How do you not know Nitro Girl Che? Come on, man.
How I never paid attention to the Nitro. How many times I have to tell you?
You weren't 12 at this time. This is the problem. You were not 12.
Correct. I was never horny for wrestling.
You weren't 12. When were you? What in 1999? You were not. Yeah, that's the problem. Is you weren't 12 at this time.
Yeah. I've never been horny for wrestling. I swear to you. Not one time. So, no, I don't know Che, the Nitro Girl.
Well, she was. I like Che, the Nitro Girl. Even today, Che still holds up. But Nash used to make a bunch of comments about like Scott Hall, like just random. Like this is in 1999 when they did not give a fuck and they didn't care and they knew they were like Teflon or whatever. And like Nash would just be like, hey, I could go for some Korean food right now. And Hall's like, I thought you just ate Korean. And he's like, hey
you know
now. What I mean? Hey. And then Nash would slick the hair back or whatever. Like, these fucking guys. Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Like, oh, God.
Stupid.
Right. Thought you just ate some Korean, bro.
Oh, God.
Big sexy. Anyway, I don't know how the fuck we got here, but there we go. We're here. I don't want to talk about Maple Leaf. Who gives a fuck about Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling?
Whatever happened to Morgana, the kissing bandit? What do you think
she's got to be dead. She's got to be dead now, right? Morgana, the kissing. She's still alive.
For people who don't know.
Yeah, explain Morgana, the kissing bandit.
So in the late 70s and early 80s, Morgana, the kissing bandit, was a woman with comically large breasts, much like this Minka woman. And she would run onto baseball fields and sexually assault players is basically what her gimmick was.
Yeah.
Today, she can never do this.
She'd be canceled.
She would be canceled, arrested. That'd be the end. Well, she would get arrested frequently, but she'd be canceled because she would run on the field uninvited and, I don't know, run up to Bill Doran and put a smooch right on his lips as he's standing at home plate and force kisses on various baseball players. Some would invite it. Like, the aforementioned George Brett. He's like, all right, give me a little. I'll take some of that Morgana.
Come here, sugar. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
Absolutely. Other guys would look stunned and shocked and they didn't want nothing to do with it and would look deeply uncomfortable, probably hoping their wives weren't watching the broadcast. But if it was a George Brett or if it was a Steve Garvey or something like that.
Oh, Garv. Garv slipped a number at the end of that too, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But that was Morgana, the kissing bandit. She'd come out in her little short shorts and her comically large breasts and sexually assault various baseball players from the 1980s. So that's
looking
Morgana.
at this. They have Wikipedia has her. By 1990, she had kissed 37 Major League Baseball players, 12 National Basketball Association players, and dozens of minor league baseball, basketball, and hockey players, plus various umpires, managers, and owners, and on one occasion, the San Diego Chicken.
Yeah, she would just hop out of the crowd in the middle of the game and just.
So
run
at some
down
point, this
players.
became a work, right? These could not have all been shoots.
Well, they'd always drag her off of there, like the security, and sometimes they'd handcuff her, but eventually I think they got a little more lenient with her and they wouldn't because she was like a thing, so they would I think they would politely remove her from the field and then arrest her later because you got to go to jail for that. That's a disrupting of a public event. But what you're saying is maybe they were started to be
because now she's kissing the San Diego Chicken. She's going to minor league ballparks. Like now it's a gimmick. Now she's making money.
I think Nolan Ryan has the famous one where he drops to his knees and he's like, bring it on, Toots. And he's like,
right, let's go, honey.
Yeah. I think he's like one of the more famous ones. So was George Brett. Like they, Yeah, but sometimes they would, when they didn't want nothing to do with her. But here's the one with George Brett. Oh yeah, he's into it. He is staring into her soul with her arms around his neck. And then there's the Nolan Ryan. If you Google her, you'll see Nolan Ryan. Yeah, he's down on one knee with his arms open on the pitching mound. Yeah.
Is he canceled now too? Because I feel like if you do that, that's also everyone's canceled in that situation.
Well, then it would be consensual, right? Like by modern rules,
I suppose.
Right? Because then he's like consenting to it or whatever.
Right. God,
could you imagine that kind of mindset with Morgana the Kissing Bandit during that time? Yeah. So, did she do Playboy? No, she's wearing a Playboy shirt. I don't think she did Playboy. Right. She's still alive, Morgana?
She is. Yeah, I'm surprised. I could have swore she would be dead by now. It says she's in her late 70s, so she was younger than I think. The problem was she was in an era where she looked like she was running out and she was probably 21, but she looks like she's 37. So
exactly. Yeah. I think did Ryan Sandberg not appreciate it? I think he was one of the ones that
I'm looking at an image of what appears to be Don Mattingly, who does not seem to be enjoying her showing up. Is that bad? He is very upset. He's like,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I've referenced this a million times, but his historical baseball abstract write up and verbatim, Don Mattingly, 0% bullshit, 100% ball player. That's his whole entry. So you can see him being very
he's like, come on,
non-receptive to this. He's like, come on, I'm trying to grind out a walk here.
Right. You can tell he's got a walk mindset. You can tell from his eyes. He wants to walk. Yeah.
He's like, come on, I got a 2-1 count. This guy's got a tough slider, and I got to deal with this bullshit.
But he's been wild. He's been wild with his splitter. He can't throw the splitter right now. He's not getting it over the plate, but that slider is going to be hard to deal with. So can you just get the fuck out of here? I'm trying to work my magic here.
Hit the fucking bricks. I got Henderson on second. I'm trying to drive him in.
Anyway, do you care about Maple Leaf Pro returning?
No,
I don't. Yeah, I don't either. The main event. Do you care? Well, you're big on the what's his fucking name? I forget the Nomad or whatever. Night one of MLP Mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
Is Tom Latimer defending the NWA World Heavyweight title against your guy Bishop Dyer?
Oh, the Nomad.
Yeah,
the Nomad is wandering into Maple Leaf now. See, listen. You didn't tell me that the Nomad Bishop Dwyer was going to.
It's Dyer, I believe. We keep calling him Dwyer like he's Bud Dwyer, the mayor who killed himself on video. But no, it is Bishop Dyer.
I think he was a town, some other kind of.
Oh, I thought he was a mayor. Maybe not.
Yeah, treasurer or something, hiding money.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he was the mayor. Let's
treasurer. He was Pennsylvania treasurer.
Do not Google Bud Dwyer.
Right. Unless you want to see, which you do not look this up. We will look it up on our own.
He was Pennsylvania House of Representatives and a member of the Pennsylvania State Senate.
Okay.
So we were both wrong.
Perfect. As per usual.
Yeah. Shocking.
Anytime we say, hey, what was this thing? We're always probably wrong about it. But there you go. Night 2 of Maple Leaf Pro features a 3-way match of Taiji Ishimori, Kaito Kiyomiya, and Alex Zane. And the main event of night 2 is Billy Gunn and Bishop Dyer versus Matt Cardona and Tom Lattimore. My question to you, Joe, why does this exist? Who needs Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling?
I got to be honest, no shtick, sounds like shit.
Who are you going for? What audience are you trying to get? Because this thing is streaming on Triller. Scott D'Amore's doing the media rounds everywhere talking about this shit. Who are you going for? What fans do you want to watch this? The wrestling world is so inundated with content right now. There's so much shit out there to watch. Even if you're just in America, even if you just watch American wrestling, how many hours of first-run American wrestling do you have on a weekly basis, not even counting the indies, not counting Mexico, not counting Japan, not counting Europe, not counting any of that sort of shit? What audience are you trying to gather with Billy Gunn and Bishop Dyer versus Matt Cardona and Tom Lattimore? Who do you want? Rohan Raja versus Rich Swann. Tom Latimer versus Bishop Dyer. What the fuck are you going for? PCO versus Michael Allen Richard Clark. Do you get it, Joe?
Who?
It spells out Mark. Ha ha.
Love to mock the people buying the tickets.
Like, what is this?
I don't know. I mean, the first set of shows he ran were clearly for, try to do like a super indie kind of thing.
Yeah. Those were October of 2024. He's done nothing since then, and now we're back here in March.
Even if it wasn't all for us, like he had the Bully Ray table match and things like that, but you got the mindset of it. I don't know what the fuck this is. I mean,
cards look awful.
Tom Latimer? We're aligning with that Billy here. Is that what we're doing? Is at Billy's business so hot that you just have to align yourself? You
gotta bring in the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. You got to get the 10 pounds of gold in the building.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, first you got to call out Billy and make sure he's available for the date, because NWA promoters nationwide are clamoring to get Tom Latimer in.
Central States really wanted Latimer this weekend, but no, he's booked.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because, they were hoping to put together that Tom Latimer, Rufus R. Jones match that they've been jonesing for a very long time in the Kansas area. But luckily he was available for Maple Leaf Pro. So, D'Amore kept those fingers crossed, and he's got the NWA World's Champion coming to town.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
And getting the most out of him out of the weekend. Get an NWA World's Heavyweight title match against the Nomad Bishop Dyer, and then the next night, getting as much of the Billy Gunn nostalgia that you possibly can, teaming up with Matt Cardona. It's just, it's masterful stuff.
Yeah,
here, so.
Listen. He's getting the territory back going. He's pumping life back into bought the trademarks and everything. Mm-hmm. He'll be running Exhibition Stadium before you know it.
I'm sure you're right. Once he can get out of St. Clair College in Windsor, Ontario, that's the only place he ever fucking runs. He must get that building for free, right? He knows the dean of the college or something. He is always in that building. Always. St. Clair College in Windsor, Ontario. When he ran TNA, they were there all the fucking time. St. Clair College. Remember people wanted this dude to run AEW? Like, legit people were like, I just got the more run. It's bad. Anyway, I probably won't watch it. Maybe I will. Maybe that's what we'll talk about next week.
I think you should watch it.
Then that'll be it. Once I watch that, I'm like, all right, now I'm done. I've given you the first one. I've given you the second one, and now I think we're good. I know where you're at. But, Joe, before we leave, and before you take your week off, I have a Joshi match to recommend to you, okay?
Oh, God.
Will you do it?
Okay.
I won't know if you'll do it because you won't talk about it on the show anyway.
Sure. You'll forget about it by the time.
No. This is a great match that you should actually go out of your way to watch this. I am fairly confident you are going to enjoy it a lot. It's commentary free, so you don't have to worry about that. It's in Shinjuku Face, I believe.
All right.
So that helps. Sareee versus Syuri from Sareeism Chapter 7. Let me get the date for you. I could just literally send you the match, too, if you want me to do that.
How many E's in Sareee? I'm trying to write this.
Three.
Okay, 3 E's. Okay.
3 E's. The date is March 10th, 2025. Okay?
Okay, 3/10.
Think you would like it. It's... Well, you just talked about how you wanted wrestling with no bullshit and no run-ins and just people wrestling and trying to fight and trying to win a match. That's this one here.
Who's the opponent for Sareee here?
Syuri. It's SYURI.
Okay. Yeah. Is that the one with the tail?
No, no tails here.
Okay.
No time for tails. No, it's fucking kicks.
Right.
It's kicks. It's strikes. And it's.
Do I have to go to a sketchy Chinese tube site?
Right now, no, but maybe by the time. Right now, it's on a very popular site that a lot of people go to, but I don't know how long it'll be there. But I can.
It's that Internet Archive thing that I don't mess with.
No. It's it starts with Y and ends with YouTube, so it's up there.
Okay.
Yeah,
hurry.
It probably won't be up there very long. It is a pay-per-view, so
better hurry.
Yeah.
Can't you just slap download on a YouTube video? Not quite that easy.
No, not that easy.
You'll be over my head how to download that. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with that.
It's 30 minutes. I think you could watch it in time. But anyway, it's very good. And Sareee has been awesome. I think the last 2 years, it's been really, really good. Obviously, post WWE run, which was just insane that the only thing they could.
Sareee or Syuri?
Sareee. And this is going to be the problem with this match. They both sound. No, Sareee is the one that was Sareee or whatever the hell in NXT. Remember, she was like the wizard girl that winked?
Yes, I'm familiar with Sareee.
And she fucking rocks. And she's really good. And the fact that they couldn't figure out anything to do with her.
Sareee here.
Yeah,
Sareee
basically. So yeah, it's good. They fight, they kick, they slap, they chop. there's a little bit of crowd brawling, but it's like good crowd brawling. It's like, and you know me, I'm not a big fan of crowd brawling, but it's done in a way that you'll see it's different than most other crowd brawling. It's done with an intent, and it's one of those things where the fans are scared because these two women are beating each other so much that they like part. They like get out of the way. They want to be as far away from these women as possible as they're fighting outside. But yeah, it's just they just fucking go at it for 30 minutes, man. Beat the fuck out of each other, arm work, leg work, big kicks, big chops. No bullshit, and then it ends. So I think you'll like this, and I'm recommending it to the people out there too. I really think, and Sareee has been very, very, very good for a while now. So if you're a fan of women's wrestling at any level, if you're a fan of wrestling at any level, I think you need to check some of her stuff out because she's doing really, really good work, and these are her in her like produce shows or whatever. So she's putting these shows on and going to the main events there, and mostly killing it every single time she's out there. So right
Syuri.
now 9.51 on Cage Match.
For Syuri versus Sareee.
Yes.
Syuri.
Sort of. The one of them was a UFC fighter at one point, or some sort of shoot fighter. But
that's Sareee.
Yes, I'm just gonna say yes.
Who's on first?
Right. But yeah, go watch that. Anybody listening to this, definitely well worth your time.
Syuri versus Sareee.
Yeah, rave reviews. Enjoyed it a lot.
Sareee was in UFC. Did you know that?
I'm not gonna acknowledge you anymore.
I thought you said I'm all right, Spider.
Right, you take your week off. Go watch March Madness. What the fuck
I'm in a goofy mood. Yeah.
Starch. I was watching. What was I watching yesterday? It was Starch Madness.
Oh, because it was probably Big Sky with all the Montana teams and Idaho teams.
Starch Madness, and I was like, "Oh yeah,
Starch Madness,
let's go." Was it sponsored by like what was it sponsored by?
Probably Idaho potatoes or something, right?
Oh, that's right, probably. Yeah, I was looking. I was like, does that court say Starch Madness? That's incredible. Yeah, it's a Big Sky basketball. Let's go.
Yeah. You're locked into that, huh?
Yeah, I forgot who won. It was like Montana versus. I think it was North Colorado versus Montana. Yeah.
Well, Montana beat Northern Colorado to win the tournament.
That's the one. Yeah, I was watching that game yesterday in Starch Madness.
Because Northern Colorado beat Montana State in the semifinal. That's Northern Arizona.
By the way, the guy they had doing commentary was like just some hill ride dude. He was like, you could tell he like he was like from Montana, right? He's like, oh, here, well, you got this player right here. I'll tell you that guy's a hell of a player. And I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. It's on like ESPN, but it's like this like random dude who's just like who knows all these players from Montana.
Right.
Like, this is the only basketball he ever watches. And he's like, I'll tell you, that guy right there, he's a great ball player. I saw him when he was when he was 11 years old out here in the I'm like, hell yeah, this is awesome.
Well, listen, if you're going to show Big Sky basketball, why parachute someone in?
Exactly.
Have someone in there.
Get the expert. Get the expert.
That knows what they're talking about. So.
Yeah. And fuck around with Starch Madness. I'll tell you that. But
that's a tough travel conference, the Big Sky.
I would guess because there's fucking mountains in the way.
Well, there's mountains and they're all in these tiny towns where you can't take direct flights to any of them. So you fly to like Helena, Montana, then hop on a bus for 6 hours
to get to Bozeman. To get to Bozeman.
Yeah, like through like in the winter, like through the snow. Like it's really bad because Chris Russo's son is the second assistant for Northern Arizona. And they're in the Big Sky, and he talks about that all the time. How the travel, the road trips they're treacherous. It's like working the Stampede territory, like it's the fucking ice buses with Beef Wellington and fucking Dynamite Kid with Bruce Hart driving the bus.
Right. Well, Dynamite's lighting fireworks underneath Bruce Hart's feet. It's because he's a fucking prick. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'm driving you on a mountain while it's snowing. Could you not?
Yeah. The road's covered in ice. There's moose crossing over. You're up in the Griffin Peltier territory. It's a mess.
Anyway, all right, that's it for us. So you take your week off. You enjoy your little March Madness. I'll talk to you in a couple weeks. But that is it here for the flagship. Joe is off next week. We'll figure out what we're going to do next week. We'll get a guest. I always find a good guest to get on here. I don't want to do this solo. I'll find someone here. We'll find a couple guests. We'll always do good shows. I always do really good shows.
Absolute coward. Yeah. Absolute coward.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind doing the solo shows, but I think it's kind of fun to bring those guests in.
Do 4 hours on your own.
4 hours on it. Fuck it. Let's do it live. Let's go.
No breaks. Just sit down, do it, pump it out.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good challenge. I like the guests. I like the banter. So anyway, all right. March Madness full swing. Joe's in there next week. So anyway, that's it for us. FlagshipPatreon.com, by the way. I want to go there and a lot of stuff for you to watch and listen to. Not much to watch there. A lot to listen to, though. We got the Instant Reaction Live for AEW Revolution 2025. We have our Instant Reaction Live from Elimination Chamber. You can go back and listen to our reaction to the John Cena heel turn. You got the Thursday Dynamite reviews. You got another episode of Tour of the Territories coming out by the time most of you guys listen to this. The Flagship Plus that I talked about, the which cage match is better debate, and a little bit of ragging on Bully Ray, who, by the way, Bully Ray went full mask off this week, so we don't even need to. The mask was already pretty off, but now it's like, you know what I mean? Like the tweet that he did was like, well, if MJF and Hangman went to WWE, we'd finally see what they're capable of or whatever. It's like, all right, we've now taken the mask. I mean, at this point, there's not even a debate anymore what Bully Ray is. But hey, you can go and listen to Joe talk about Bully Ray and how he doesn't, not an objective analyst whatsoever at all. Plus, which cage match was better? Roadblock, All Japan's latest in Korakuen. So a lot of stuff up there for you guys. $5 tier gets you all the bonus audio. $10 tier gets you the live reactions, all the written stuff, and everything we've ever done. We also have a trial tier and a free tier. So if you join to the free tier, you can get notified when a new post is made. Plus, you get some free content here and there every single month. And then, of course, you can upgrade to the $5 and $10 tier to unlock everything else we do on that. But that is it for us. Again, flagshippatreon.com. And that is Joe. I'm Rich. Talk to you guys next time. Take care. Bye.
Hey now, it's Mike Gilbert, host of the Mike and JD Show, right here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Join JD by God Oliva and myself every Thursday night live on the Voices of Wrestling YouTube channel at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we stay up all night discussing all the hottest stories in professional wrestling. You can also check us out right here on the Voices of Wrestling podcasting feed, or you can subscribe to the Mike and JD Show feed. Now, enjoy the show.